Warrior Lore. Chapter 659. The entire cavern became so silent that one could hear a pin drop. Everyone turned to look at Lin Feng in shock. How is this possible? How is this possible? This was absolutely impossible. This thought flashed through everyone's mind. It seemed that other than these thoughts, they could not think of anything else. That was because everyone was deeply shaken. Originally, everyone thought that Lin Feng was able to suppress He Hongxian because he had two powerful treasures. Now, they could not be used. Was he going to be miserable? But what was the result? He Hongxian was defeated. He Hongxian was defeated with an overwhelming advantage. Song Qian's eyes widened in disbelief. What kind of monster is this guy? She stared at Lin Feng. Then, Song Qian looked at Mu Wushu and asked, "Do you know him? Did you say anything about what happened in Northern Desolate City?" Mu Wushu smiled bitterly. He's the one who caused all the commotion. Song Qian was shocked. News about Northern Desolate City had been blocked. However, some large factions and experts still had sources of information. Song Qian was a yin-yang expert. It was not surprising that she could get such information. Mu Wushu nodded and said, "That's right." Song Qian's heart was filled with an indescribable shock. When she heard about what happened in Northern Desolate City, she did not care. That was because the Tianwu continent was filled with legends about geniuses. For example, a certain genius fought a yin-yang dragon in a deep-sea lake for 3 days and 3 nights before leaving. Another example was a certain genius who could fight a yin-yang expert at the age of 15 and not lose. Such news. There were too many. However, if one really investigated, they would find out. Most of these legends were fabricated. Many people made up such legends for Yang Ming. Originally, Song Qian thought that what happened in Northern Desolate City was also a fabrication. But now, she knew that it was all true. The witness of what happened in Northern Desolate City, Mu Wushu, was beside her. The main character of the Northern Desolate City incident had used his own strength to beat He Hongxian, who was in the yin-yang realm, half to death. Said Mu Wushu. Although this He Hongxian's talent is not bad, he's wasting his talent. He doesn't cultivate diligently, and the only reason he was able to break through was because of the accumulation of countless cultivation resources. I just didn't expect his battle power to be so weak. Song Qian asked, "How strong do you expect someone as arrogant as He Hongxian to be?" Mu Wushu nodded. It was exactly as He Hongxian had said. Many people who seemed to be arrogant and insufferably arrogant might actually not be that powerful. The truly powerful ones were those who kept a low profile. Clearly, He Hongxian belonged to the first category. Moreover, once a cultivator broke through to the yin-yang realm, there would be a huge gap in their combat power. They were both at the first level of the yin-yang realm. A cultivator who comprehended spirit could instantly kill a cultivator who didn't. A first firmament yin-yang realm cultivator who had comprehended spirit could even contend with a second firmament or third firmament yin-yang realm cultivator who had not comprehended spirit. As for the cultivators at the first heaven of the yin-yang realm who had comprehended force, they could easily defeat a first firmament yin-yang realm cultivator who had comprehended spirit. If they comprehended spirit and force at the same time, that would be even more terrifying. Therefore, there was a huge gap in cultivation between each realm. Although Lin Feng hadn't broken through to the yin-yang realm, he was a cultivator who had comprehended spirit and force at the same time. He could be said to be a rare existence. How can you be so strong? He Hongxian got up from the ground and looked at Lin Feng with a face full of horror. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent as he stepped forward. He wanted to kill He Hongxian. "Kid, you can't kill me." He Hongxian roared. Sword Dao Incarnation. He Hongxian roared and soared into the sky. Swoosh. Sword Chi soared into the sky. He Hongxian disappeared. What replaced him was a dense Sword Chi. He Hongxian transformed into Sword Chi one after another. Then, the densely packed Sword Chi rushed out. Stay. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He used Sky Splitter to kill the Sword Chi. Puff, puff. The Sword Chi was torn apart one by one. But dozens of Sword Chi still managed to escape. There were too many Sword Chi, and it was impossible to destroy them all. This is the deity Sword Villa's escape method. It will harm their origin. Unless you're an almighty powerhouse, It'll be extremely difficult to kill him, Mu Wushu said. Song Qian smiled. I've heard of junior brother Lin's name for a long time. Now that I've met you, you're even stronger than the rumors say. The ancient barbarian kingdom was attached to the Blue Cloud sect. Although Song Qian wasn't a disciple of the Blue Cloud sect, she had gone to the Blue Cloud sect to cultivate in the past. It was reasonable for her to address Lin Feng as junior brother. Senior sister Song, you're too polite. Lin Feng cupped his fists. Brother Lin, it seems like the three of us need to work together to open the door to the main stone room, Mu Wushu said. Lin Feng nodded. The world of cultivators was indeed a world where the strong were respected. Lin Feng thought to himself. He had beaten He Hongxian half to death. The surrounding cultivators looked at him in awe. Even Mu Wushu and Song Qian, who were geniuses and goddesses, had taken the initiative to talk to him. Strength. It was the foundation of the world of cultivators. Lin Feng nodded. Let's try and see if we can open the door. Okay. Song Qian nodded. The three of them arrived in front of the stone door. Open. Lin Feng, Song Qian, and Mu Wushu exerted their strength at the same time. Rumble. Rumble. This time, the stone door to the main room was shaken. The three of them will definitely be pushed open if they work together. It's a pity that we're not fated with them. A cultivator sighed. Ordinary cultivators like them naturally didn't dare to compete with Lin Feng, Song Qian, and Mu Wushu for the treasures in the stone room. The stone door was indeed too heavy. Even Lin Feng and the other two had to expend a great deal of strength to move the stone door. The heavy stone door was gradually pushed open by the three of them. They didn't completely push the stone door open, and there was no need for that. They only pushed it open a little. It was enough to enter. Lin Feng and the other two entered the stone room one after the other. The stone room was very large. After they entered, they were immediately stunned on the spot. They were dumbstruck, because in the stone room, there was a woman in snow-white clothes with her back facing them. That graceful and charming figure, that enchanting and moving figure. One could vaguely see snow-white skin. Lin Feng, Song Qian, and Mu Wushu looked at each other. They all saw a trace of shock in each other's eyes. How many years ago was this cave abode? There was actually a woman inside? Could it be that macho? If it really was that macho, if she was still alive. So many people had barged into her cave abode. They had disturbed her cultivation. Most likely, everyone would die without a proper burial ground. Lin Feng, Song Qian, and Mu Wushu's expressions became unprecedentedly serious. Chapter 660. This woman's body was surrounded by immortal energy. She was like a fairy that had descended from the 9 heavens. Even though Lin Feng was a little worried about his own safety. However, they couldn't help but want to see how beautiful that face would be. Is it Senior Macho? Lin Feng asked in a low voice. But the fairy-like woman didn't turn around. Something's not right. She doesn't seem to be a human. Song Qian whispered. Lin Feng and Mu Wushu nodded. Now, they also felt that something was wrong. Her clothes were as white as snow. She was peerless. She had the best appearance in the world. But she didn't turn around. Lin Feng felt that it was a pity. Her body was slowly dissipating. It turned into specks of star-like light. Is it a mark? Lin Feng whispered. Finally, the specks of star-like light turned into a painting. In the painting was a woman, although only her side profile could be seen. But even if it was only her side profile, it could already be called a peerless fairy. Just a glance. It would be unforgettable. Senior Macho, Lin Feng was shocked. The woman in the painting was the mysterious woman who had just disappeared. She should be Macho, right? There are words on the painting, Song Qian said. The three of them looked over. They saw a short poem written on the painting. Kaiwei Kaiwei, Wei also stopped. Returning day after day, the years also stopped. Indulging in the house, because of Macho. Not less than Chiju, because of Macho. Kaiwei Kaiwei, Wei also stopped. Returning day after day, the heart also stopped. Intense worry, hunger and thirst. My garrison is not set, the emissary returns. Kaiwei Kaiwei, Wei also stopped. Returning day after day, the years also stopped. The affairs of the king are dispirited, not to mention others. Worried about Kong Gue, I can't walk. What is Bilway? The beauty of Wei Chong. What is Bai Lucy? A gentleman's carriage. Once the military vehicle was in motion, the 4 horses began to move. How would they dare to settle down? 3 victories in a month. Driving on the other side. For Moo. What a gentleman relies on is what a villain goes against. For mules, like a fish robe. Isn't that the day precepts? Hiss. In the past, I went to the willows. Today, I come to think of it, the rain and snow are falling. As Lin Feng Trio read this poem, they could not help becoming somewhat infatuated. It was as if they were looking at a peerless beauty standing in the forest, looking into the distance, waiting for his lover to return. In the past, I've gone, willow trees rustling gently. Today, I'm thinking of the snow and rain. This sentence expressed his deep longing for his lover. Helplessly, Senior Macho. But his lover never came back. The painting suddenly burst into flames. It floated in the air. Scorching flames. Let it ignite. The flames seemed to want to burn away the thousands of years of longing. They were burned as well. Painting. They were reduced to ashes. The 3 people in the stone room did not speak for a long time. After a long time, Lin Feng took a deep breath and said, "Cherish what you have in front of you. Only then will you not leave behind endless regret and sorrow." Mu Wushu said, "Yes." Then he sighed and said, "I wonder who that man is? Such a peerless beauty has waited for him her entire life, but he still hasn't returned." There was a hint of resentment in his tone. He seemed to feel that it was not worth it for Senior Macho. Song Qian said, "As expected, there are no good men." Lin Feng and Mu Wushu could not help but laugh bitterly. At this time, Song Qian was clearly being unreasonable. It was useless to reason with her. "Look, there's a stone platform over there. There seem to be 3 things on it." Lin Feng pointed to a stone platform in the depths of the stone room. The 3 of them quickly walked over. There were indeed 3 things on the stone platform. The first item was a scroll. The second was a small porcelain bottle. The bottle constantly emitted roars and flashed with light. There seemed to be a ferocious beast sealed inside. But upon closer inspection, it was not a ferocious beast. Instead, it was a drop of powerful ferocious beast's blood. It was the blood of a ferocious beast that had died countless years ago. Its divine power had yet to dissipate. The third item was a palm-sized piece of metal. This metal was imprinted with a star-like imprint. It was 9 heaven star metal. This was the legendary divine metal. It was most suitable for forging magic treasures. I'm about to forge a magic treasure, and I need precious materials. How about this 9 heaven star metal belong to me? Song Qian said. Lin Feng and Mu Wushu nodded. Song Qian was delighted and put away the 9 heaven star metal. "Brother Lin, are you planning on taking it? A scroll? Or a ferocious beast's blood?" Mu Wushu asked. His eyes were fixed on the scroll. Clearly, Mu Wushu really wanted the scroll. This scroll might contain some powerful secret technique. Lin Feng, on the other hand, wanted the ferocious beast's blood. This was because Lin Feng had already cultivated several terrifying techniques. He did not need to cultivate any new secret techniques for a while. Moreover, it was very difficult to find a secret technique that could interest Lin Feng. However, the ferocious beast's blood was different. It could increase Lin Feng's cultivation level. Now, Lin Feng's most pressing matter was to increase his cultivation level and reach the yin-yang realm as soon as possible. Without reaching the yin-yang realm, he was still an ant. "I want the ferocious beast's blood. What do you think, Brother Mu?" Lin Feng smiled. Lin Feng's choice was exactly what Mu Wushu wanted. Mu Wushu smiled and said, "I want this scroll." The 3 of them took their treasures. Next, they searched the stone room again. However, they did not find anything else. The 3 of them did not stay and left the cave. The other cultivators rushed into the main room. Mu Wushu said, "I hope Brother Lin can forget about the unpleasant events in Northern Desolate City. When you come to Northern Desolate City in the future, you must come find me. With me around, the Flame Dragon Gang will not dare to cause trouble in front of Brother Lin." Mu Wushu's meaning was obvious. Even if he had to offend the Flame Dragon Gang, he had to befriend Lin Feng. Lin Feng cupped his fists and said, "When the time comes, I will definitely pay you a visit." Song Qian smiled and said, Junior brother Lin, are you here to train in the ancient barbarian mines? Lin Feng nodded and said, yes, I'm here to train as an inner disciple for a year. Mu Wuxiu and Song Qian were shocked. Lin Feng had just become an inner disciple? He was already so powerful. In the future, when they thought of this, they became even more determined to befriend Lin Feng. Song Qian smiled and said, when I have time in the future, I will visit you at the ancient barbarian mines. When the time comes, I will definitely treat you well. Lin Feng cupped his fists. The three of them parted ways. Lin Feng hurried to find a place to refine the ferocious beast's blood. He hoped that the ferocious beast's blood would help him break through. Lin Feng sat cross-legged in a cave. He took out a porcelain bottle and broke the seal. Roar! A ferocious beast pounced out. It was a bistlia. This was an ancient ferocious beast. However, right now, it was just a manifestation of blood. Lin Feng sneered and smashed the bistia's phantom with a punch. Then, Lin Feng swallowed the ferocious beast's blood. Time passed. A day later, a terrifying aura came out of the cave. Bang! Lin Feng broke through, and the aura in his body leaked out. The entire mountain peak was blasted into pieces by the energy that leaked outwards. Chapter 661. There was a huge crowd in front of the God-fallen cliff. Many cultivators had arrived. Currently, the heavenly sage Great Emperor's ancient imperial weapon was shaking the world. Naturally, it would attract countless cultivators. Of course, everyone was still in a wait-and-see mode. No one dared to enter rashly, because the God-fallen cliff was too dangerous. Even though the power of the restrictions had weakened a lot, this place was still a land of death. It devoured people's lives. If one entered rashly, only death would await them. Many powerhouses from large factions had arrived. Have you heard? Even the powerhouses from the Palace of Immortality have arrived. Some cultivators were discussing. Lin Feng was shocked. Even the Palace of Immortality had been alerted? They were the overlords of the 72 northern prefectures. However, it was normal. Even the Palace of Immortality was very interested in imperial weapons. Even the ancient factions did not have many imperial weapons. They were existences that surpassed the gods. They were supreme treasures forged by great emperors. Any one of them could cause an entire realm to sink into oblivion with just a light blow. Once activated, they could instantly destroy a top-tier faction. This was how terrifying imperial weapons were. I heard that these imperial weapons all have gods. Usually, the gods are in a state of deep slumber. A cultivator said, gods. Lin Feng muttered. This was the first time he had heard this term, and he was very surprised. What is a god? A young cultivator asked. Clearly, like Lin Feng, he did not understand the meaning of the word god. Gods who ignite their divine fire can be called gods. This is the cultivation of cultivators, an old cultivator said. An old cultivator said. They had also heard of it. They had cultivated to the peak of the rebirth realm. If they could ignite their divine fire, they could transcend the shackles of reincarnation. They could become gods. If they could become gods, their lifespan could reach 100,000 years. What a long lifespan. Of course, their cultivation would also become more powerful. The old cultivator continued, cultivators can continuously increase their cultivation, and so can their treasures. A young cultivator said, it's like our natal treasures. They will become stronger as their master's cultivation increases. The old cultivator nodded and said, that's right. After pausing for a moment, the old cultivator continued. When a cultivator reaches the mystic realm and ignites a divine flame, they are known as gods. When an artifact spirit forms a divine dwelling and cultivates within it, they are known as gods. Everyone pondered the old cultivator's words. Lin Feng asked, Senior, are you saying that the treasure's artifact spirit will create a divine manner to complete a transformation similar to a cultivator's breakthrough from the rebirth realm to the god realm? The old cultivator smiled and said, that's exactly what I meant. When a cultivator is in the reincarnation realm, he is still immortal and has not transcended. If he ignites his divine flame, he will have completely transcended and will no longer be immortal, but a true god. It's the same for weapon spirits. If they can create a divine palace, they can become gods. They can even absorb the willpower of all living beings to strengthen themselves. After the transformation, a god will have complete consciousness. Even if its master dies, it can continue practicing cultivation. If someone can awaken a god, that great imperial weapon will explode with 30% of the strength of a great emperor, said Lin Feng. Hiss. The sound of people sucking in cold breaths could be heard. Many people's eyes widened. Explode with 30% of the strength of a great emperor? Didn't that mean that it could easily kill a god? A cultivator asked, Senior, are you saying this from hearsay? It's just a weapon. How can it explode with 30% of the strength of a great emperor? That's complete nonsense. The old cultivator smiled and said, If you believe it, it's true. If you don't, it's not true. Whether you believe it or not depends on your thoughts. The old cultivator walked into the distance and sat cross-legged on a mountain peak, no longer speaking. Clearly, many people didn't believe the old cultivator's words. A weapon that could unleash 30% of the strength of a great emperor? Wouldn't that make one invincible? Lin Feng rubbed his chin, pondering the old cultivator's words. He didn't know if the old cultivator's words were trustworthy. If the fire Qilin was here, it would definitely know. More and more powerhouses arrived. Even powerhouses from outside the 72 prefectures came. God's Sect. This was an extremely ancient faction located in the 16 prefectures of Serene Cloud. The 72 prefectures were surrounded by the endless lake, separating them from the rest. Passing through the boundless, endless lake. This was the 16 prefectures of Serene Cloud. There were many powerful factions in the 16 prefectures of Serene Cloud. However, the God Sect was definitely one of the strongest. This was because it was an ancient faction. The powerhouses of the God Sect were shrouded in divine light. Their appearances couldn't be seen clearly. Not far away were the cultivators of the Longevity Hall. Waves of immortal light covered their true appearances. Roar. A dragon's roar shook the 9 heavens. A 1,000-meter-long dragon flew over with many cultivators sitting on it. Many people looked at the dragon in shock. The ferocious dragon was only a mount. Who was this person? Could it be a powerhouse from the ancient divine sect? A cultivator exclaimed in shock, feeling a little uncertain. There were 3 ancient factions in the 16 prefectures of Serene Cloud. The God Sect, the Ancient Divine Sect, the Fairy Pavilion. Now, 2 of the 3 ancient factions had arrived. Kikik. In the distance, mist floated. A gloomy voice could be heard. It was a ball of black mist that covered the sky and the sun. Dozens of blurry figures could be seen in the black mist. The godly temple of the wildlands. Someone exclaimed. This was another ancient faction in the 72 prefectures of Serene Cloud. Of course, they were slightly weaker than the Longevity Hall. However, that was only relative. The godly temple of the wildlands was a very terrifying faction. However, this faction was both righteous and evil. Many evil factions were protected by the godly temple of the wildlands. For example, the factions of the East County had joined forces to destroy the Soul Devourer temple. They had almost succeeded. However, the godly temple of the wildlands had interfered and caused them to fail. Even the powerhouses of the godly temple of the wildlands had arrived. There were both righteous and evil factions. They were all eyeing the imperial weapon covetously. What exactly is the imperial weapon left behind by the heavenly sage great emperor? Lin Feng scratched his chin and couldn't help but think. A single weapon had attracted so many top-notch powerhouses. Could it be that the old cultivator was telling the truth? Could an imperial weapon really unleash 30% of a great emperor's combat strength? If that was the case, it would be too terrifying. It's you. Suddenly, an incredulous voice could be heard from the mist. It was the powerhouse of the godly temple of the wildlands. He seemed to have discovered someone extraordinary. His emotions were fluctuating violently. This attracted everyone's attention. The powerhouses of the Longevity Hall, the God Sect, and the Ancient Divine Sect also looked over. Many powerhouses from the primordial and ancient era also looked over. An old cultivator was sitting cross-legged on a mountain peak. He was dressed in green. He looked very ordinary. In fact, he even looked a little shabby. No matter how one looked at him, he looked like an old cultivator who had fallen from grace. He could not be associated with a top-notch powerhouse. It's him, Lin Feng was shocked. It was the old cultivator who had been chatting with them earlier. Who is he? The powerhouse of the gods sect asked. Burial of the Ninth Era. The powerhouse of the godly temple of the wildlands said in a trembling voice. Burial of the Ninth Era? Who is he? Countless cultivators were puzzled. They had never heard of this name. When some of the older cultivators and the higher-ups of the top-notch factions heard this name, they were deeply shocked. Chapter 662. Buried deep in the starry sky. 9 reincarnations, just to meet you again. Zhongju was a name no one wanted to mention. A name so powerful that the Tianwu continent trembled. And now, he had appeared here. It was truly inconceivable. Zhongju? Who is he? Many people were puzzled. They didn't know who he was. Finally, a cultivator whispered, "He's someone who buried time." Buried time? Everyone was puzzled. What was time? Time was the evolution of the great Tao of heaven and earth. It was the order of the great Tao. Who could bury time? It sounded inconceivable. No one knows who he is. All we know is that he appears once every 10,000 years. A cultivator said. Anyone who hadn't heard of Zhongju's name was shaken. Appeared once every 10,000 years? This meant that Zhongju had appeared more than once. How many tens of thousands of years had he lived? Was he a god? Lin Feng was greatly shaken. She really couldn't associate that smiling and somewhat downtrodden cultivator with a god. Rumor has it that Zhongju cultivated a technique that buried time. Every time he appeared, the time was very short. Then, he would bury himself in the eternal depths of time and space. Time wouldn't flow there, and he wouldn't continue to age. He could live forever. A cultivator told the rumors he had heard. No one knew how long Zhongju had lived. No one knew how powerful he was. 50,000 years ago, an ancient sacred land in the middle continent attacked Zhongju, a quasi-archaic power. How powerful was it? But it was destroyed in the end. No one knew what happened that night. Zhongju's fierce name was passed down. He was a person full of secrets. Buried time, endless life. Lin Feng muttered, feeling shocked. But soon, he frowned slightly. Why did he have a strange feeling? Was this a curse? Was Zhongju cursed? Lin Feng didn't know why such a strange thought appeared in his mind, but he couldn't get rid of it. May I ask if you are Senior Zhongju? A cultivator from the Longevity Hall asked. I came from eternity, and I will return to eternity. I buried time, but time cannot erase me. The old cultivator muttered. His body gradually dissipated and eventually disappeared without a trace. Everything felt like a dream. He left. Many people were shocked. Zhongju left just like that. He wasn't interested in the imperial weapon. No one knew why he had come here. Mysterious and powerful. This world doesn't lack strong cultivators. Lin Feng muttered. This Zhong 9 was obviously full of secrets. Of course, these secrets were not something Lin Feng could explore. Zhang Jioshu's departure made many top forces heave a sigh of relief. Because in their opinion, if Zhongju had the intention to use the imperial armament, he would have been able to use it. Then, no one would be able to compete with Zhang Jioshu. This existence was simply too powerful. If that old man is Zhang Jioshu, doesn't that mean what he said before is true? A cultivator exclaimed. Zhang Jioshu had said this before. A monarch weapon could unleash 30% of a monarch realm expert's combat strength. This was definitely a power that could instantly kill a god. Now, Zhang Jioshu's identity was clear as day. If one carefully thought about Zhang Jioshu's words, no one would think that Zhang Jioshu's words were nonsense. Monarch weapons are actually so terrifying. No wonder these top forces are so crazy about them. Lin Feng muttered, his heart filled with shock. Whoever obtained a monarch weapon might not be invincible. However, it wouldn't be a problem for them to sweep through Tianwu continent's 3,000 prefectures. Buzz! At this moment, in the depths of the god-fallen cliff, a violent fluctuation spread out. Then, flowers rained down. Golden lotuses appeared on the ground. The sound of the Tao rose in spirals. Immortal qi filled the sky. Boundless divine light surged. The sound of the great Tao was endless. It was as if an ancient sacred emperor was about to descend. Monarch weapon tremor. Everyone was shaken to the core. This was the monarch weapon tremor. It caused a phenomenon in the world. In the depths of the god-fallen cliff, looking into the distance, within the divine light, a mysterious supreme treasure floated up and down. Is that a monarch weapon? Many cultivators were so excited that their bodies were trembling. Even the Palace of Immortality and the other ancient factions were shocked. They couldn't suppress the excitement in their hearts. Is that a monarch weapon? Lin Feng's heart pounded wildly. The moment the monarch weapon appeared, it caused a phenomenon in the world. It was really terrifying, as expected of a legendary treasure. Didn't they say that some ancient factions have monarch weapons? But most of the rumors are not true. Lin Feng muttered. If they could really control such a supreme treasure, those ancient factions would have already swept through the 3,000 prefectures and unified the Tianwu continent. But in reality, the Tianwu continent was very peaceful. Although there were demons causing trouble, but they were all small-scale. There were no large-scale battles or conflicts. Many major factions were excited. Now, there were already experts who were planning to make a move. They wanted to enter and investigate. God-fallen cliff. Won't it be a 90% chance of survival if we enter? Lin Feng shook his head. This was the place where the heavenly Saint Great Emperor was buried. A great emperor was buried there. Since it was called a land of death, naturally, it was endlessly terrifying. Entering it would also be a 90% chance of survival. However, for the monarch weapon, many people were willing to take the risk. Perhaps this was the spirit of cultivators. Although there was a 90% chance of death, they had no regrets. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. More than 20 experts moved. They gathered together and entered the god-fallen cliff. These top factions finally can't hold back and are about to make a move. Many people discussed. There were more than 20 top experts, all of them at the Yin-Yang realm. It was a force formed by the ancient factions, the desolate factions, and the ancient factions. This force could be considered powerful no matter where it was placed. They flew into the god-fallen cliff. But at that moment, something strange happened. Two powerhouses lost control of their bodies and fell to the ground. When they fell to the ground, they had already turned into bones. What happened? Everyone's hair stood on end. This was too terrifying. The sky fell in a few breaths of time. How could they turn into bones? The power of time. An almighty from the Palace of Immortality said gloomily. Time. It was enough to destroy everything. The seemingly endless years of a cultivator were in front of time. It was just a drop of water in the ocean. It was not worth mentioning. Time had buried these people. The forbidden land of death had the power of time. Whether it was the primordial demon mountain, Nine Dragon Ridge, Sun Moon Cave, God Burial Stream, Undying Mountain Range, or the God-fallen cliff, they were all covered by the power of time. One wrong step, and they would die tragically. The others' expressions changed drastically. They quickly landed in the forest where the God-fallen cliff was, not daring to continue flying. However, as soon as they landed, the bodies of 3 experts cracked like porcelain. No, they shouted in horror, but they were powerless to stop it. Bang! In the next moment, their bodies shattered. Chapter 663. What did they encounter? Many people felt their hair stand on end. They had just entered the Godluo cliff. 5 Yin-Yang realm cultivators had already died. These were big shots. Usually, the death of a cultivator of this level would cause a huge uproar. But now, cultivators of this level had died so tragically. The power of cultivators is really too weak in front of the order of heaven and earth, Lin Feng muttered. The Godluo cliff was a land of death created by the order of heaven and earth. Countless secrets were hidden in it, but they wanted to explore it. How difficult was this task? Those cultivators gritted their teeth, avoided the dangerous area around them, and continued to walk deeper into the cliff. No one died. It seems that not every place in the Godluo cliff is so dangerous. Lin Feng stared at the cultivators in the Godluo cliff. Now, they were walking deeper into the cliff. There were 7 mountains in the Godluo cliff. Those cultivators crossed 2 mountains. They reached the third mountain. Could it be that we can really reach the depths of the seventh mountain? Those people from the major factions were very excited. In the deepest part, they buried the heavenly Saint Great Emperor. There was the inheritance of a great emperor and a powerful great emperor weapon. If they could really reach that place, the rewards were immeasurable, unimaginable. But soon, those people were killed. In the void, there was a cold light surging. With a light sweep, 6 or 7 cultivators were swept away. And then they died. It was a terrifying thing. They died tragically just like that. It was so terrifying that it made one's countenance change. The restrictions of the God Luo cliff are really strong. Lin Feng frowned slightly. He felt that the remaining people would not be able to reach the depths of the God Luo cliff. They had not even gone halfway, and they had already lost so many people. Moreover, the deeper they went, it would be more dangerous. Everyone, let's retreat, a cultivator said with fear in his heart. Even if they were prepared to die here before entering the God Luo cliff. But when they saw the cultivators around them die one by one, they were also frightened. Everyone was afraid of death. And what was even more terrifying than death was waiting before it. 6 or 7 cultivators decided to retreat. They went back the way they came. However, there were still a few cultivators who did not want to give up. They continued to walk deeper into the forest. However, not long after, screams could be heard from the depths. The cultivators who chose to go deeper, he died a horrible death. The rest of the people were pale and quickly walked out of the God Luo cliff. However, they had encountered something terrifying. One cultivator after another fell to the ground. Not even a scream could be heard. He collapsed in the forest. Then, his body turned into a bloody pulp and merged with the ground of the God-fallen cliff. What happened? Lin Feng muttered. What happened in the God Luo cliff was really too terrifying. Even if he didn't enter it, it made him feel cold all over. That was more than 20 yin-yang cultivators. But now, all of them had fallen. This matter was bound to cause a huge uproar. Ever since the Dark Ages of the Middle Ages. Since then, more than 20 yin-yang realm cultivators had died in one go. But now, however, more than 20 yin-yang realm experts were buried in the God-falling cliff. This was enough to shock anyone. Many cultivators looked at the God-falling cliff with pale faces. Clearly, everything in the God Luo cliff. This made them feel even more horrified. Imperial weapon. The orthodoxy of the heavenly Saint Great Emperor. Was it really that easy to obtain? Of course not. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to obtain it. The losses are too great. Even the top factions can't bear such losses. Lin Feng frowned. I hope these old bones can still be of some use. At this time, an old cultivator from the ancient divine sect walked out. He was really too old. His whole body was bent. He couldn't even straighten his back. He gave people the feeling that he was about to die. This was a terrifying existence. However, his lifespan had reached its end. The old sect master of the ancient divine sect. Someone exclaimed. He recognized the old cultivator's identity. His background was so great that it was terrifying. The divine martial sect. In the past, this name had once resounded throughout the Tianwu continent. Didn't they say that he died 3,000 years ago? He actually lived until now. He should be 12,000 years old, right? Some cultivators discussed. Lin Feng was shocked when he heard this. 12,000 years old? Heavens! Wasn't this lifespan too long? He could be considered an old immortal. I didn't expect to see the divine martial sect senior here. Many experts from the top factions bowed to the old sect master of the ancient divine sect. Even the almighty experts were just juniors in front of the old sect master. This must be an ancient powerhouse, right? His lifespan must be more than 10,000 years. Lin Feng was shocked. He guessed the divine martial sect's cultivation level. No need to be so polite. The divine martial sect's master smiled. His voice was old and hoarse. He had come out of seclusion for the Luotian cliff. Ancestor, please reconsider. We really don't want you to go in. The cultivators from the ancient divine sect begged. The old sect master knew that he didn't have much time left. Moreover, his body was too old. His cultivation had been declining. He couldn't improve. If he couldn't break through, It would be difficult for him to break through the shackles of heaven and earth. He couldn't go against the heavens to prolong his life. Therefore, the Divine Martial Sect wanted to do something for the ancient Divine Sect in his final moments. At this moment, the imperial weapon of the Luotian cliff vibrated. The restrictions on the cliff were much weaker than before. The Divine Martial Sect wanted to enter the Luotian cliff with his broken body. It would be best if he could retrieve the imperial weapon for the ancient Divine Sect. Even if he couldn't retrieve the imperial weapon, the Heavenly Saint Great Emperor was also buried deep in the Luotian cliff. There were countless treasures and inheritances of the Heavenly Saint Great Emperor. The Divine Martial Sect hoped to bring them out. It would be enough to benefit the ancient Divine Sect. It had to be said that the old senior of the Divine Martial Sect was worthy of respect. Even if his life was coming to an end, they were all thinking of doing their best for their sections. Actually, he still has 100 years left, but this is a one-time opportunity. The Divine Martial Sect isn't willing to wait any longer. I've made up my mind. Don't try to persuade me, the Divine Martial Sect's master said. He walked toward the Luotian cliff. Soon, the Divine Martial Sect arrived at the Luotian cliff. He avoided many dangers. Finally, he reached the fifth mountain. Many people were shocked. The old sect master of the ancient Divine Sect was indeed worthy of his title. Even though he was old and weak, he still passed through many dangers and reached the fifth mountain. When the Divine Martial Sect walked toward the sixth mountain, he encountered danger. His body began to crack. He encountered an unknown and terrifying power. Time reversal, the Divine Martial Sect shouted. His weakened blood chi suddenly soared into the sky, as hot as the sun. Everyone could see that the old sect master had become younger in an instant. He burned his lifespan and used a heaven-defying divine ability to restore himself to his peak state. The Divine Martial Sect looked to be in his 30s. He was very handsome, and his battle strength could shake heaven and earth. The Divine Martial Sect broke the destruction of his body in that area. But as soon as he walked out of that terrifying area, an even more terrifying power enveloped him. The Divine Martial Sect burned 100 years of his lifespan to restore his youth, but under the shroud of that power, the Divine Martial Sect became even older. In an instant, his peerless glory disappeared with the wind. Chapter 664. Elder Shinwu's sect used a heaven-defying technique to make his bloodline flourish and regain his youth, but it also violated the laws of time. Therefore, the laws of time in the Godluo Cliff erased Elder Shinwu's sect. The Almighty of the Immortal Hall sighed. What a terrifying law of time! Lin Feng's face was full of shock. Although a few cultivators had encountered the power of time before, compared to the power of time that the old sect master encountered, it was not worth mentioning at all. The most dangerous and fatal power in the land of death was the power of time, because no one could resist the erosion of time. In fact, the powerful Zhongju was known to have buried time, but he could not truly resist the erosion of time. He buried himself in the depths of eternal time. There, time stopped flowing. That was why he could live until now. But if Zhongju was always in the outside world, he would also age quickly. Then, like Shinwu's sect, he would age to the point where he could not defy the heavens. His cultivation would regress. He would become so old that he could not reverse the situation. But he would make a last attempt. But Shinwu's sect still failed. Ancestor, you died so tragically. The cultivators of the ancient divine sect knelt on the ground and cried. They might have expected such a scene, but seeing Shinwu's sect die tragically in the Godluo Cliff, they could not help but feel sad. Rest in peace, Lin Feng murmured. He was full of admiration for Shinwu's sect. When his life was coming to an end, he did not choose to escape. He chose to leave the mountain. He wanted to fight for a large amount of cultivation resources for his descendants, to fight for the inheritance of an Emperor Realm expert, or even an Emperor weapon. Although he failed, but it was admirable. Shinwu sect's tragic death touched too many people, even a powerful expert like Shinwu sect. But he could not enter the depths of the Godluo Cliff to obtain an Emperor weapon. Who could do it? The experts of the top forces became hesitant. Many of the top forces temporarily left, and went to a nearby valley to discuss. It seems that these forces are going to be serious. A cultivator said, I heard that the longevity bell of the Immortal Hall is also an emperor weapon. A cultivator said so. Emperor Changsheng. Chun Changsheng. He was a figure that had shocked the ages. He had founded the Longevity Hall and passed it down to this day. Why was the Longevity Hall able to suppress the godly temple of the Wildlands, which was also an immemorial power? This was related to the Longevity Bell. Is it really an imperial weapon? Who can confirm this? Someone questioned. Another cultivator said, rumor has it that it's not a real imperial weapon. It's still far from being a real one. Back then, Emperor Changsheng had the opportunity to refine the Longevity Bell into a real imperial weapon, but apparently, there was a mistake and it was all for naught. Some believed that the Longevity Bell was a monarch weapon. Some people thought that it was impossible. Two opinions were in dispute. However, it didn't matter if it was an imperial weapon or not. The Longevity Bell would be extremely terrifying. Actually, it said that only a few influential groups have great imperial weapons, such as the ancient Jiang clan, the Divine Dynasty, the Great Zhou Empire, the Ji clan, and the Long-Lived Temple. With such great imperial weapons, they could dominate the entire Tianwu continent. But because they have more than one great imperial weapon, they're afraid of each other. That's why they haven't tried to unify the Tianwu continent. A cultivator asked. Lin Feng rubbed his chin and said, Is the Great Zhou Empire that powerful? He suddenly thought of Ji Yuhan, the little princess of the Great Zhou Empire. She was mischievous and very cute. Back then, she had gone through life and death with Lin Feng, but after they parted, they never saw each other again. The ancient Jiang clan's ancestor was a minister of the Great Zhou Empire's Ji clan. That cultivator said. Lin Feng was shocked. In the ancient times, the ancient Jiang clan's ancestor, Jiang Sheng, was the first prime minister of the Great Zhou Empire. This cultivator obviously knew a lot of things and talked about the secrets of the top influential groups. If the long-lived temple uses the Longevity Bell, they might be able to enter the depths. But the Longevity Bell controls the destiny of the celestial sect. It's not easy to make the Longevity Bell come out. There are many benefits involved, said Lin Feng. Obviously, these cultivators were all experienced and knew how the top influential groups dealt with each other. The world was bustling with activity, and everyone worked for benefits. The top influential groups were no exception. Kid, it's you. At that moment, a cold voice came from afar. The voice was filled with hatred. Lin Feng looked over and saw Yu Buayun looking at him. You are quite lucky. You actually managed to escape from me. Are you here to die? Lin Feng's eyes were filled with killing intent. Now, he had the bronze mirror. His cultivation had also broken through to the 9th level of the Martial King realm. His battle strength had soared. He also had a supreme treasure. Lin Feng believed that he could definitely kill Yu Buayun this time. He rushed toward Yu Buayun. You don't know what's good for you. Yu Buayun sneered. Boom. A terrifying aura came from another direction. It was much stronger than Yu Buayun. A middle-aged cultivator appeared. A second yin-yang realm cultivator. Lin Feng frowned. Yu Buayun had found a helper. It was very likely that he was also from the Flame Dragon Gang. The Flame Dragon Gang could become one of the top influential groups in the northern wilderness city. It was impossible for Yu Buayun to be the only yin-yang realm cultivator in the gang. Haha, I've searched high and low for you, only to find you without any effort. Kid, you didn't expect to meet me here, did you? At that moment, a sinister voice sounded. Lin Feng looked over. Black Qi swept over from afar. A demonic expert. Lin Feng frowned slightly. Who was this? A one-armed cultivator walked out of the Black Qi. He was skinny. He looked like a malicious spirit. Black Demon Patriarch. Lin Feng was shocked. He didn't expect it to be this person. Black Demon Patriarch wanted to refine him into an evil spirit of a demonic treasure, but Lin Feng destroyed his demonic treasure. Moreover, Lin Feng cut off one of Black Demon Patriarch's arms. Such a deep hatred. Black Demon Patriarch could not forget. Even in his dreams, he wanted to kill Lin Feng. When he saw Lin Feng just now, he couldn't believe his eyes. He had searched for Lin Feng for so long, but he couldn't find him. Yet, he saw him here. Black Demon Patriarch was overjoyed. Who is that kid? He's surrounded by 3 Yin-Yang realm experts. Many people exclaimed in surprise. He was just a martial king cultivator. He was actually surrounded by 3 Yin-Yang realm cultivators. This was really unbelievable. Kid, let's see how you'll die today. A resentful voice suddenly sounded. 2 figures flew over. The person who spoke was actually He Hongxian. He was almost killed by Lin Feng in Macho Cave Abode. In the end, he used a desperate method and luckily escaped. It was obvious that He Hongxian had met the experts of the sect. Beside He Hongxian was a cultivator in his 30s. He was also at the Yin-Yang realm. He glanced coldly at Lin Feng. 5 Yin-Yang realm experts. They surrounded Lin Feng. Seeing this scene, many people were dumbfounded. They couldn't understand. Why would so many Yin-Yang realm cultivators surround a martial king cultivator? Moreover, the Yin-Yang cultivators seemed to be on high alert. Could it be that the martial king cultivator had some powerful methods? Could it be that these Yin-Yang realm cultivators found it difficult to deal with? But soon, everyone felt that this might be their imagination. A martial king was as weak as an ant in front of a Yin-Yang realm expert. Surrounded by 5 Yin-Yang realm experts, this kid will definitely die. Many onlookers looked at Lin Feng as if they were looking at a dead man. Chapter 665. 5 cultivators besieged him. Lin Feng was facing an unprecedented crisis. These were 5 Yin-Yang cultivators. Apart from Yu Buayun and He Hongxian, who were slightly weaker, there were 4 other cultivators. The other 3, the mysterious demon ancestor, the cultivators around Yu Buayun, the cultivators around He Hongxian. All 3 of them were very strong. Therefore, Lin Feng was indeed in trouble. Yu Buayun, the mysterious demon ancestor, He Hongxian, Zhang Shang, and Li Guangxiao. Who was that kid? How did he attract 5 Yin-Yang cultivators to attack him together? Some cultivators were puzzled. It's him. Some people were surprised as if they had recognized Lin Feng. Oh, who's that kid? Someone asked, feeling extremely curious. He's a disciple of the Blue Cloud sect, the main character of Northern Desolate City. Said the cultivator. Is what happened in Northern Desolate City true? It's not just a rumor? Said a cultivator in surprise. Of course it's true. I saw it with my own eyes. That kid fought with Yu Buayun, and Yu Buayun couldn't defeat him. Now, that kid seems to be stronger than before, said the cultivator. He's stronger than before. He's not even in the Yin-Yang realm, but he can fight against the Yin-Yang cultivator without losing? Is that kid really that strong? Many cultivators were shocked. He's more than strong. He's also very daring. He drank with Demon Saber Nailin Jing in front of so many strong cultivators. His temperament is terrifying. If it were me, I wouldn't be able to take a step forward, said another cultivator who had experienced what happened in Northern Desolate City. But even though he's strong, he's facing 5 Yin and Yang cultivators at the same time. The difference in strength is too great. A cultivator shook his head and said, obviously, he didn't think highly of Lin Feng. After all, he was surrounded by 5 strong cultivators. No matter how he looked at it, he was bound to lose this battle. The other cultivators nodded in agreement. They hadn't even started fighting yet. In their opinion, Lin Feng's defeat was already inevitable. Brat, have you thought about how you want to die? The Black Demon Patriarch looked at Lin Feng with a sinister gaze. The eyes of the other 4 experts were also filled with killing intent. Lin Feng smiled when he saw the 5 strong cultivators attacking him from all sides. The corners of many people's mouths twitched violently when they saw Lin Feng's carefree expression. This brat, doesn't he know how dangerous the situation he's in now is? How dare he laugh? What was he thinking? Those cultivators naturally didn't know about Lin Feng's inner world. The more dangerous it was, Lin Feng became even calmer. Danger was approaching. Only by maintaining a clear mind could one make the most correct response. Just like now, 5 experts besieged him. Lin Feng knew that he had no hope of winning this battle. The power of the bronze mirror would not be able to be fully displayed. First of all, Lin Feng could easily suppress early-stage Yin-Yang cultivators with the bronze mirror. If he suppressed mid-stage Yin-Yang cultivators, it would be more difficult for high-level cultivators. After all, Lin Feng was only at the 9th stage of the martial king realm. No matter how powerful the Dharma treasure was, it was useless if it couldn't be used. It was like asking a baby to chop someone with an axe. Naturally, the killing power wouldn't be too great. Secondly, He Hongshuan's martial soul was strange. It cut off the connection between cultivators and Dharma treasures. This would cause Lin Feng to lose the opportunity to activate the bronze mirror. Lastly, if the 5 experts joined forces, their attacks would be endless. They wouldn't even give him time to activate the bronze mirror. Therefore, the situation Lin Feng was in was indeed quite troublesome. If he was careless, there was a possibility that he would die and his Tao would vanish. Therefore, during that battle, Lin Feng had decided to avoid him. He planned to break out of the encirclement. However, the 5 experts had already locked onto Lin Feng, even if he could break out of the encirclement. But in the next moment, he would definitely be entangled. If I want to get rid of these guys, I can only enter the God-fallen cliff. Lin Feng's lips curled into a sinister smile. He was actually forced to enter the God-fallen cliff to get rid of their encirclement. Lin Feng thought. Naturally, his killing intent was as vast as the sea. This brat is full of tricks. Everyone, let's kill him together. Don't give him any chance. When the Black Demon Patriarch saw that Lin Feng didn't speak, he immediately guessed what Lin Feng was thinking. Among the 5 experts, the Black Demon Patriarch knew Lin Feng the best. He could guess what Lin Feng was thinking. It wasn't something inconceivable. Boom! The 5 Yin-Yang Realm experts attacked at the same time. Black Demon Palm, 10,000 Sword God-Killing Technique, Spring and Autumn Sword Technique, Sun and Moon Rotation, Astral Wind Thunder Annihilation Slash. 5 experts. 5 powerful secret techniques. The power of each of them could be said to be extremely terrifying. At the same time, they attacked Lin Feng. Even the surrounding Yin-Yang Realm experts who were watching the show were shocked. The joint attack of the 5 Yin-Yang Realm experts was indeed terrifying. Will that brat be killed by the 5 Yin-Yang Realm experts? Many cultivators exclaimed. The destructive power of the 5 Yin-Yang Realm cultivators attacking together was too powerful. That kind of attack. It was shocking. It made one's heart tremble. Facing such a terrifying attack, they wanted to block it, unless they were very powerful existences in the Yin-Yang Realm. Obviously, Lin Feng wasn't one of them. Many people thought that Lin Feng would be turned into ashes by this attack. But at this moment, Lin Feng attacked. He condensed the Tao word, destroy. He activated the 5 black holes at the same time. He knew how terrifying the joint attack of the 5 experts was. He wanted to resist. He had to use all his strength. Violent waves swept out. The Tao word, destroy, formed. It emitted a shocking energy wave. It instantly flew out. Bang! Lin Feng fought against 5 alone. The Tao word, destroy, collided with the powerful secret technique of the 5 Yin-Yang Realm experts. Instantly, energy surged crazily. Waves of destructive energy swept out. The 5 experts were forced back. At the center of the explosion, the destructive energy wanted to tear Lin Feng's body into pieces. Devouring martial spirit, ultimate form, 5 devouring martial spirits as one. Lin Feng pushed the devouring martial spirit to its peak level. After the 5 devouring martial spirits fused into one, the terrifying energy that wanted to destroy Lin Feng's body was devoured by Lin Feng's body. However, the energy was too huge and couldn't be devoured completely. Lin Feng's face turned pale. He didn't dare to hesitate and took advantage of the fact that the 5 experts were forced back by the energy shockwave. Lin Feng directly rushed towards the Luo God Cliff. What? That brat didn't die? Many people cried out in surprise. Their faces were full of disbelief. That was the attack of 5 Yin-Yang Realm experts. How did he, a Martial King Realm cultivator, block it? This was too shocking. But then, many people cried out in alarm. Isn't rushing towards the Luo God Cliff a death sentence? Some cultivators said, if he rushes into the Luo God Cliff, he might have a chance to live, but if he continues to stay outside, he will definitely die. Those supreme experts from the top forces must be very interested in his secrets. Many cultivators were shocked. It was indeed as that cultivator said. A small Martial King realm cultivator actually blocked the joint attack of 5 Yin Yang realm cultivators. This was too terrifying. Obviously, that brat was full of secrets. In the world of cultivators, killing people was very simple, because of a treasure, because of a legacy, or even because of some small grudges. These could be the reasons for killing people, and Lin Feng had such a secret. Outside the Luo God Cliff, there were many experts. Even if he could get rid of the 5 Yin Yang realm cultivators, what about those more powerful cultivators? Would they let Lin Feng go? Obviously not. Damn it, we let him escape. The 5 Yin Yang realm cultivators had gloomy expressions. Lin Feng rushed into the Luo God Cliff. He felt a terrifying power enveloping his body. It was the power of time. He thought of the Yin Yang realm cultivators who died tragically under the power of time and the old sect master of the eternal divine sect, Shen Wuzong. He felt a crazy surge towards him. It wanted to destroy his power of time. Lin Feng's expression changed. Chapter 666. In an instant, Lin Feng felt 50 years of his lifespan being mercilessly taken away. Lin Feng wanted to cry but had no tears. He only had a total of 200 years of lifespan. 50 years was taken away in an instant. A few breaths later, was he going to become a pile of bones? The scene in front of him was too terrifying. Shrinking earth into an inch, Lin Feng roared. At the moment of life and death, he pushed his speed to the limit. He couldn't fly here. Because there was a powerful restriction in the air, he might be swept by the restriction and die tragically. But shrinking earth into an inch was enough for Lin Feng to run hundreds of meters in an instant. He fell into the forest. Although he escaped fast enough, Lin Feng still lost 60 years of his lifespan in an instant. Fuck! Lin Feng felt like cursing and swearing in the streets. In the blink of an eye, 110 years of his lifespan was taken away. That was close to 60 years of lifespan. This kid didn't die. Many cultivators were shocked. He was enveloped by the power of time and didn't die. He was too lucky. But even if Lin Feng escaped for the time being, so what? Not many people thought that Lin Feng could survive. That was a land of death. More than 20 Yin Yang realm cultivators and the old sect master of the ancient divine sect all died there. Lin Feng was just a small Martial King cultivator. How could he be lucky enough to survive? The sky gradually darkened. Under the night sky, the Luotian cliff became terrifying. A cold aura enveloped the entire Luotian cliff. Black fog lingered. It blocked one's vision. The cultivators outside who were looking at the Luotian cliff couldn't see what was happening inside the Luotian cliff. Lin Feng carefully walked towards the Luotian cliff. He vaguely felt that there seemed to be something terrifying spying on him. This cast a shadow over Lin Feng's heart. Creatures that could live in a land of death were extremely terrifying. If such a creature really appeared, at that time, only death would await him. Lin Feng sped up, but soon, his expression changed greatly, because he felt a terrifying attack sweeping towards him. This was an attack hidden in the void. Lin Feng had triggered the restriction here. Retreat! He reacted quickly and retreated immediately. Previously, Lin Feng had seen the Yin Yang realm cultivators who entered the God-falling cliff die silently. It was these invisible restrictions that swept across their bodies, causing them to die instantly. If Lin Feng wasn't a spirit array master, he wouldn't have been able to detect it in advance. Then, only death awaited him. But now, Lin Feng had detected it in advance. This allowed him to keep his life. A deep wound appeared on his left shoulder, and blood immediately flowed out. Lin Feng sucked in a breath of cold air. This restrictions attack was too terrifying. Fortunately, he retreated quickly. If he retreated too slowly, if this attack landed on his body, wouldn't he be sliced into two? Lin Feng walked in another direction. Not long after, he felt an extremely terrifying aura appear. Lin Feng quickly hid in a big tree. A black shadow appeared without a sound. He couldn't see clearly what that black shadow was, but it was obvious that it was a terrifying beast that lived in the land of death. The existence's pale green eyes scanned the surroundings as if looking for Lin Feng's figure. At that moment, Lin Feng even held his breath. He didn't dare to move. In the end, That terrifying creature rushed into the distance and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Phew! Lin Feng let out a long breath. He had finally avoided this calamity. The land of death, there is no turning back, Lin Feng muttered. Not many people knew this sentence. It was the fire Qilin who told him. The land of death. There was no turning back. If one wanted to walk out of the land of death, either that, or they were extremely lucky and walked out safely. But this probability was so small that it didn't need to be considered. The second was to use powerful combat strength to sweep away all obstacles. The third was to obtain an opportunity in the land of death and be protected. If one turned around rashly, they would encounter attacks that were 10 times more dangerous than when they entered. This was the order law of the land of death. No one knew who made it. That was why there was a saying that entering the land of death was equivalent to 9 deaths. This saying was completely correct. Lin Feng continued to walk deeper into the land of death. When he reached the third mountain peak, Lin Feng suffered a tragic blow. His chest was pierced through by an invisible force. Blood immediately flowed out. There was a terrifying restriction around him. Lin Feng didn't dare to move. Cold sweat immediately flowed out. He could feel it. The restrictions around him weren't something he could break. If he dared to move, he might be beheaded. Cough, cough. Lin Feng coughed violently, his face pale. His injuries were serious. But here, he couldn't take out anything stored in his storage ring. Naturally, he couldn't take out the spirit medicine. The death impasse had cut off his connection with all sentient beings. Like the storage ring, like magic treasures. What a despairing place. Lin Feng muttered. He finally stopped the bleeding. He felt very tired. His vision was a little blurry. His tired body, his mental energy was extremely exhausted. Coupled with the injuries on his body, Lin Feng felt like he was about to fall to the ground. In the darkness, cold eyes looked over. A creature from the land of death appeared. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. Was he really going to die here? He could feel the cold aura quickly approaching him. The creature from the land of death quickly flew towards his location. The situation was critical. At this time, a figure suddenly appeared in the distance. Although it was blurry, but Lin Feng could see him. The creature shrouded in darkness screamed in horror. Then, it fled into the forest and disappeared without a trace. Who is he? Lin Feng muttered. He tried his best to stay awake. That blurry figure walked deeper into the land of death. A small golden path appeared in the darkness. Lin Feng was shocked. He followed the path and walked deeper into the land of death. Lin Feng actually avoided the terrifying restrictions in that area. He walked out from inside. Senior, who are you? Are you a cultivator who entered? Or is it a brand? Lin Feng muttered. But he couldn't catch up, because he couldn't hold on anymore and fell to the ground. When Lin Feng woke up, he felt that his injuries were much better. It should be the undying body healing his injuries. But the land of death's attacks were very strange. It was difficult to completely heal his injuries. A cave. Lin Feng looked at a cave not far away. He walked in. The deeper he went, the temperature in the cave became hotter. What's in the cave? Lin Feng was shocked. He went deeper. Finally, Lin Feng arrived at the depths of the cave. In the deepest part of the cave was the belly of a mountain. At the center of the mountain, a pitch-black flame was twisting. When he saw the flame, Lin Feng's purple earth core fire jumped violently. Heavenly fire. Lin Feng's voice trembled. Who would have thought? There was a type of heavenly fire hidden in a cave in the land of death. Chapter 667. Open. 72 clusters of fire seeds formed in the beginning of the world. After countless years of nurturing, they turned into 72 types of heavenly fire. Any kind of heavenly flame was extremely terrifying. Of course, to truly display the terror of the heavenly fire, it wasn't as simple as refining the heavenly fire. Lin Feng refined the purple earth core fire. However, it was difficult to activate the power of the purple earth core fire. This was because the purple earth core fire hadn't awakened yet. The awakening of the heavenly fire. The awakening of the power of the heavenly fire. Once the heavenly fire was activated, its power could burn the sky and boil the sea. How terrifying was that? Of course, Awakening the power of the heavenly fire also required luck. However, it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Lin Feng didn't expect to encounter a second type of heavenly fire here. A pitch-black flame. Could it be the black flame devouring god fire? Lin Feng's eyes were filled with shock. The 72 types of heavenly fire varied in strength. The purple earthcore fire that Lin Feng refined was a relatively weak heavenly fire. It was ranked 67th among the 72 types of heavenly fire. However, the black flame devouring god fire was terrifying. It was ranked 8th among the 72 types of heavenly fire. I actually encountered the black flame devouring god fire. Can I refine this type of flame as well? Lin Feng's heart was burning with desire. However, he had already refined one type of heavenly fire. Could he refine a second type of heavenly fire? According to the Fire Qian, if he refined different types of heavenly fire, there would be a great conflict between different types of heavenly fire. At that time, the greatest possibility would be to explode and die. However, Lin Feng cultivated the archaic dragonesque elephant technique. Therefore, he wanted to try. If the archaic dragonesque elephant technique could suppress two types of heavenly fire, perhaps it could really refine the black flame devouring god fire. Back then, when Lin Feng had absorbed the purple core fire, he had broken through 3 layers in a row. However, the purple earth core fire couldn't be compared to the black flame devouring god fire. If he refined the black flame devouring god fire, would he have a chance to directly break through to the yin-yang realm? Even Lin Feng, he couldn't help but become excited. Something's not right. There seems to be something in the flames. Very quickly, Lin Feng discovered that something was wrong. The black flames floated in the air, and a golden divine egg could be vaguely seen within the blazing flames. Divine egg? The black flame god-devouring flame is incubating a divine egg? Lin Feng sucked in a breath of cold air. Wasn't this a little too shocking? Black flame devouring god fire. The 8th-ranked heavenly flame. It was actually placed here to hatch a divine egg. Could that divine egg be the descendant of a heavenly god or an emperor? Lin Feng's eyes were filled with shock. This cave was not simple at all. Who cares whose descendant he is? Since I've come across it, there's no way I'll let go of this opportunity. Lin Feng gritted his teeth. He decided to give it a try. No matter if it was the black flame god devouring fire or the sacred egg, they were all heaven-defying. If he could get it, this was a great opportunity. He entered the belly of the mountain and walked toward the black flame soul-devouring fire. But at this moment, a flame suddenly flew out of the black flame soul-devouring fire and swept toward Lin Feng. The black flame soul-devouring fire was known to be a flame that could devour gods. From this, it could be seen that it was a terrifying flame. The space around it began to distort. The black flame soul-devouring fire wanted to destroy Lin Feng. Lin Feng did not dare hesitate and quickly summoned the purple earthcore fire. He used the purple earthcore fire to protect himself. Bang! The purple earthcore fire and the black flame soul-devouring fire clashed in the air. Although the purple earthcore fire was not as strong as the black flame soul-devouring fire, it was still stronger. However, the black flame soul-devouring fire's fire essence was mainly protecting the sacred egg. There was only one fire which was attacking Lin Feng, nothing more. Therefore, in this clash, Lin Feng's purple earthcore fire had gained the upper hand. Could there be a fire spirit? Lin Feng frowned. If there was a fire spirit, he would have to give it up. A fire spirit to a heavenly flame was equivalent to a cultivator's soul. If a terrifying flame like the black flame soul-devouring fire had its own consciousness, then Lin Feng would definitely lose this battle. He might even die at the hands of the black flame soul-devouring fire. Soon, Lin Feng realized that his worries were unnecessary. The black flame soul-devouring fire did not have a fire spirit. Lin Feng did not sense a fire spirit's aura. This allowed Lin Feng to breathe a sigh of relief. He now had an advantage. He could use his own strength to activate the purple earthcore fire. It could allow the purple earthcore fire to display even more power. However, the black flame soul-devouring fire could not do this. Lin Feng activated the purple earthcore fire to envelop the black flame soul-devouring fire. Although the flame was resisting, the power it released was very weak. It was trying its best to protect the sacred egg. Therefore, it did not dare to release too much power. It was probably worried that the sacred egg would be destroyed. This shocked Linfeng. What kind of existence was this sacred egg? Even if it was the egg of a divine beast, it was not qualified to let the black flame soul-devouring fire hatch. To be precise, even if it was the egg of a divine beast, such as a vermilion bird or blue one, it could not withstand the temperature of the black flame soul-devouring fire. Being enveloped by the black flame soul-devouring fire would instantly extinguish all life. However, the sacred egg in front of him was obviously fine. This meant that there were too many problems. Linfeng gradually approached the black flame soul-devouring fire and the sacred egg. The purple earth core fire was trembling. This was the suppression of the heavenly fire. The higher-level heavenly fire would suppress the lower-level heavenly fire. The black flame soul-devouring fire was suppressing the purple earth core fire. The purple earth core fire wanted to go back into Linfeng's body. However, Linfeng desperately activated it and brought it out. Gradually, the purple earth core fire began to corrode the black flame soul-devouring fire. Linfeng took a deep breath. He planned to devour the black flame soul-devouring fire. However, at this moment, something terrible happened. The sacred egg shook slightly. A ray of divine light swept out. It pressed down on Linfeng. Then, Linfeng sensed a terrifying strength in the air. He couldn't even imagine how terrifying that strength was. That power instantly pressed down on him. Crack, crack. It was crushed by that terrifying power. Linfeng's body. It actually began to crack. Damn it, this sacred egg is actually attacking me. Does the creature in the sacred egg have its own consciousness? Linfeng's face was pale. He frantically activated the archaic dragon-esque elephant art. He hoped to break the suppression of that ray of divine light and quickly withdraw, avoiding the attack of the divine light. However, Linfeng failed. He was shocked to find that he could not move at all. Just the pressure alone was enough to make Linfeng's body completely split apart. If that strike had landed on his body, he would have died. Wouldn't he die for sure? Linfeng's face was pale. But now, his divine consciousness was isolated by the order of the land of death and the many magic treasures on his body. He could not activate any magic treasures. Linfeng was about to lose all hope. Just at this critical moment, Li Changshuo's heart trembled. The storage ring on Linfeng's hand vibrated violently. Then, a pitch-black beast egg flew out. It floated in front of Linfeng. Linfeng was shocked. It was the beast egg that he and the fire Qilin had obtained from the mysterious space full of undead creatures. At this moment, the beast egg emitted endless black fog, drowning the sacred egg that was enveloped by the black flame soul-devouring fire. The black fog instantly swallowed the divine light from the sacred egg. Chapter 668. This beast egg is so domineering. Linfeng was shocked. He never thought that the beast egg he obtained before would be so powerful. He had thought of a way to hatch this beast egg, but he had never succeeded. Because the more powerful the beast egg, the harder it was to hatch. If one wanted to hatch it, it needed an opportunity, and Linfeng was waiting for this opportunity. Now, it was a life and death crisis. The beast egg appeared. It had dealt with Linfeng, and this beast egg seemed to be replenishing its energy by devouring the divine egg. This made Linfeng very excited. This beast egg was too heaven-defying. What race was it? If it could hatch, it would be his pet. Thinking of this, Linfeng couldn't help but become excited. However, the divine egg wrapped in the black flame god-devouring fire was not simple either. When the beast egg wanted to devour it, streaks of destructive light shot out from the divine egg. Bang, bang, bang. The two sides collided fiercely. Every collision, the surrounding void was faintly trembling. Linfeng turned pale with shock. It was just two eggs. They could actually produce such a powerful collision. I'm afraid. Even a yin-yang cultivator would be shocked to death under the energy shockwaves of this collision. Fortunately, he had the protection of the beast egg. Otherwise, he would probably die under this crazy collision. After hundreds of collisions in a row, Linfeng's beast egg finally gained some advantage. This made Linfeng excited. But at this time, something even more terrifying happened. In the depths of the mountain, there was a deep passage. It was pitch black. Suddenly, in the depths of the passage, two cold eyes lit up. When the two eyes lit up, Lin Feng felt as if he had fallen into an endless purgatory. Terrifying. It was really too terrifying. Lin Feng had also seen almighty cultivators. But even almighty cultivators seemed as weak as ants in front of the existence in the depths of the cave. A creature of the forbidden zone. Lin Feng was horrified. There were some extremely terrifying creatures in such a forbidden zone of death. However, most of these creatures resided in the deepest areas. Now, there was actually such a terrifying creature in this cave. Was it protecting the sacred egg? Thinking of this, Lin Feng felt endless fear. What was the origin of this divine egg? He hatched it with the black flame devouring god fire. Furthermore, he had such a powerful beast guarding him. Let's go. Lin Feng gritted his teeth and circulated the archaic dragon-esque elephant art to resist the terrifying pressure. He had to leave this place as soon as possible. No matter how attractive the black flame god swallowing god fire and the egg were, it was still not enough. He had to leave as well, because the creatures in the cave were too terrifying. Even if an almighty level existence were to come, they would probably only have the fate of being killed. Not to mention the current Lin Feng. Lin Feng's egg was clearly psychic. It had also sensed the terrifying aura in the depths of the cave. It wrapped around Lin Feng and flew outside. Screech. Right at this moment, an ear-piercing shriek came from the depths. The creature in the dark cave pounced out. Endless flames engulfed the world. Within the flames, Lin Feng was a terrifying creature. It was a 9-headed golden crow. Bloody light surged. The aura emitted by the 9-headed golden crow almost shattered the void. Heavens, it's actually a 9-headed golden crow. The legendary pure-blooded golden crow. Lin Feng felt his scalp go numb. The Golden Crow clan. According to the bloodline, it was divided into many species. For example, Lin Feng had seen the golden crow in the Thunderblade secret realm. However, that was only the most ordinary golden crow. Perhaps it had a trace of the golden crow's bloodline. However, it was definitely not much. The strongest of the Golden Crow clan was the pure-blooded golden crow. 9-headed golden crow. It was one of the pure-blooded golden crows. How strong were the pure-blooded golden crows? It was said that the pure-blooded golden crows of the ancient era hunted gods for food. From this, it could be seen. How strong were the pure-blooded golden crows? And in front of him was a pure-blooded golden crow. The pure-blooded golden crow pounced. Its claws swept. A claw light instantly tore the world apart. Then, it grabbed at Lin Feng. This attack was too terrifying. It was impossible to block. Fortunately, Lin Feng's beast egg was strong enough to sweep out endless demonic energy and block the pure-blooded golden crow's attack. Then, it wrapped around Lin Feng and madly flew outside. Behind them, endless divine fire surged out. The pure-blooded golden crow quickly chased after them. Whoosh! Lin Feng and the beast egg rushed out of the cave first. The pure-blooded golden crow didn't chase after them. It seemed to be afraid of something. It might have received an order not to leave the cave, or it might have some other reason. When it reached the entrance of the cave, it unwillingly screamed twice. Its cold eyes glanced at Lin Feng and the beast egg. Then, it shrank back into the cave. The beast egg flew back into the storage ring and fell silent again. Lin Feng was standing in the middle of the forest. He looked extremely happy. It's just an egg. Not only is it surrounded by the 8th-ranked black flame devouring god fire, but it is also protected by the pure-blooded golden crow. Its origin is probably terrifying. No matter what your origin is, when my cultivation increases, I will definitely come here again and eat the divine egg, kill the pure-blooded golden crow, and refine the black flame devouring god fire to increase my cultivation. Lin Feng fiercely stared at the cave not far away. He continued to walk deeper into the cave. Not long after, Lin Feng was attacked again. This time, it was a silver-white beast. This was a terrifying creature of the death impasse. Its body was upright. It looked like a huge praying mantis, but it had 2 heads. The head of the praying mantis was on the left. The head of the scorpion was on the right. Its eyes were extremely cold. It quickly chased after Lin Feng, wanting to devour him. Lin Feng fled into the depths of the cave. That is, suddenly, Lin Feng's pupils violently shrank. He saw 5 or 6 corpses lying on the ground. Next to the corpses, there was a little girl who looked like she was carved out of jade. Her big black eyes were staring at him. Who is this? Also died in the forbidden area? Why did they bring in a little girl? Is the one who died her elder? Lin Feng's expression changed. Screech. A sharp, ear-piercing cry came from behind. The terrifying creature was already chasing after him. Lin Feng's expression was uncertain. If he ran away, the little girl would definitely die. He turned around and ran towards the little girl, holding her in his arms. Pooh! A terrifying attack instantly slashed out, tearing Lin Feng's body apart. Lin Feng was swept away. He fell to the ground and rolled more than 10 meters away. His face was pale. He could only smile bitterly. His injuries were too severe. He couldn't use his magic treasures. This time, he was definitely going to die. The terrifying creature jumped up and pounced towards Lin Feng. At this critical moment, Lin Feng suddenly discovered that he had formed a connection with the storage ring. Lin Feng was extremely puzzled. Didn't the Order of the Fallen God Cliff cut off his connection with the storage ring? No matter what method he used, he couldn't connect them. But now, he could connect again? It was too strange. However, Lin Feng didn't have time to think about that. With a thought, he took out the black dragon sword. Lin Feng held the black dragon sword in his hand. When the terrifying creature pounced on him, Lin Feng's sword pierced through its body. Buzz! The black dragon sword emitted an extremely terrifying aura, crazily devouring the flesh and blood essence of this forbidden area's creature. Open! Open the seal! Chapter 669. Roar, roar, roar. The creature roared. It struggled madly. It reached out with its claws, trying to pull the black dragon sword out of its body. But the black dragon sword seemed to have become a part of its body. No matter how hard it tried, it couldn't pull it out. The black dragon sword was madly devouring the creature's flesh and blood essence. These creatures are first and foremost terrifying, and they are related to the land of death. It seems that they can't leave the land of death and live there all year round. Their bodies contain the strange energy of the land of death. The black dragon sword is devouring its flesh and blood essence. Could it be that it wants to fuse with its body the unique energy of the land of death? Lin Feng pondered. But no matter what it was devouring, for the black dragon sword, it seemed to have taken a huge step forward. Vaguely, Lin Feng and the black dragon sword formed a mysterious connection. He could vaguely see. In the deepest part of the black dragon sword, there were 9 golden seals. Those 9 seals. A huge black dragon was locked in place. It's the black dragon sword's weapon spirit. It was sealed in the deepest part of the black dragon sword by the 9 seals. No wonder the black dragon sword couldn't unleash its power. Lin Feng frowned. The terrifying creature's struggle didn't have any effect in the end. It was completely devoured. This was truly a shocking scene. A ball of pure energy was refined by the black dragon sword. Then, it surged towards the first seal. As expected, it's to devour a special kind of energy from the land of death. Lin Feng was shocked. The ball of energy fused with the first seal. That seal began to disintegrate. Humph! Suddenly, a cold voice came from the first seal. It seemed to be left behind by the powerhouse who strengthened the seal. Who is this? Why did you seal the black dragon sword? Lin Feng was shocked. The first seal was to destroy the ball of energy. But the ball of energy was not simple. There was time, space, reincarnation. All kinds of terrifying power contained within it. This was a kind of energy unique to the land of death. It was energy produced by fusing various laws of order. Outside cultivators who entered the land of death couldn't live for long. It was because these strange energies would constantly take away their lives. Even if they wouldn't encounter any danger here, they would still die quickly. However, the creatures in the land of death would not be affected by this energy. The energy being devoured by the black dragon sword was very strange. The first seal wasn't able to destroy it. Instead, the energy surged into the first seal. The first seal was gradually being destroyed. The first seal has been opened. A deep voice resounded in Lin Feng's mind. Next, all kinds of information appeared in Lin Feng's mind. The first seal has been opened. I can use the real power of the Black Dragon Sword, but because my cultivation level is not high enough, I can't use it. However, you can activate it by burning your lifespan. The first time you activate the Black Dragon Sword's power, you will burn 20 years of your lifespan. The second time you activate it, you will burn 40 years of your lifespan. Every time you activate it, you will burn twice as much lifespan. When you break through the yin-yang realm and unlock the first seal of the Black Dragon Sword, you will no longer burn your lifespan. Lin Feng was dumbfounded. He never thought that after the first seal of the Black Dragon Sword was broken, he would have to pay such a huge price to activate the power of the Black Dragon Sword, burning one's lifespan. His cultivation level was not enough to activate the true power of the Black Dragon Sword. But if he wanted to use the power of the Black Dragon Sword, he had to pay a price. Is this what the Fire Qilin meant when it said that you have to pay a price to get something? Lin Feng smiled bitterly. However, the only thing that made him happy was that as long as he broke through the yin-yang realm, then, when he activated the power of the Black Dragon Sword to unlock the first seal, he would no longer burn his lifespan. My connection with the storage ring was cut off again? Lin Feng was extremely puzzled. What happened just now? He was about to die. However, he managed to get in touch with the storage ring. He took out the Black Dragon Sword in time to kill that creature. But in the blink of an eye, the connection was cut off again. It was really strange. Lin Feng looked at the little girl. The little girl was about 4 or 5 years old. She had 2 ponytails and was very cute. A pair of big black eyes looked at Lin Feng curiously. "Little girl, are you hurt?" Lin Feng asked with concern. The little girl didn't say anything. She continued to look at Lin Feng. Lin Feng checked and found that the little girl wasn't injured. He let out a sigh of relief. "What's your name?" Lin Feng asked. The little girl still didn't say anything. "Don't tell me you don't know how to speak?" Lin Feng muttered. Cough, cough. Lin Feng coughed violently. His face was still extremely pale. His head was also dizzy. His body had just been pierced by that creature, and his injuries had worsened. The little girl looked at Lin Feng's pale face. She pointed in a direction not far away. Lin Feng looked over. Then, he saw a plant growing in the mist. There were 3 blood-red fruits on the plant. Heavens, the legendary cinnabar fruit. Lin Feng gasped. The cinnabar fruit was a legendary panacea. It grew from a bud to a fruit. It needed to grow for more than 70,000 years to mature. It was said that panacea could extend one's lifespan by 500 years. It could preserve one's appearance forever, and one's appearance would never age. Even when one reached the end of their life, their appearance would still be the same as when they had just consumed the panacea. It could even bring back the dead. The panacea had too many uses. It was simply an otherworldly soul treasure. A panacea, it could cause a storm of blood. It was rumored that in the ancient era, there were fairies from the Moon Palace, goddesses from the 9 heavens, and other peerless beauties, all looking for panacea. It was to preserve one's appearance forever. It allowed them to maintain the appearance they had when they had consumed the panacea. This way, they wouldn't age. Lin Feng naturally knew the value of panacea. He carried the little girl to the cinnabar fruit. He plucked a cinnabar fruit. He quickly ate it. Immediately, Lin Feng felt it. Inside his body, a powerful medicinal power surged out. His injuries healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. The attacks of the creatures and restrictions in the forbidden area were very strange. Ordinary methods couldn't heal him at all, but the cinnabar fruit could. After swallowing the cinnabar fruit, Lin Feng's injuries healed. He carefully sensed his lifespan. Lin Feng immediately revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. He had actually increased his lifespan by 500 years. The rumors are true. The cinnabar fruit can increase one's lifespan by 500 years. Then, doesn't that mean that it can also preserve one's appearance forever? Lin Feng touched his delicate face, but then he smiled. "I'm not a woman. Why should I care about whether or not I can preserve my appearance forever? He also plucked the other 2 cinnabar fruits and handed one to the little girl. Little girl, are you hungry? You should eat one too, Lin Feng said. The little girl shook her head. Seeing that the little girl didn't eat, Lin Feng carefully put the cinnabar fruit in his pocket. The little girl couldn't speak, so Lin Feng didn't know her name. However, Lin Feng found a sachet hanging on the little girl's body. He opened it and found a jade pendant inside. On it were the words Li Mingxi. Li Mingxi, is this your name? Lin Feng rubbed the little girl's head and asked. She was obviously stunned. She looked at the jade pendant in Lin Feng's hand. She rolled her big black eyes. Then she smiled. Then she nodded. Follow me out. Okay, I will help you find your family, Lin Feng said. Li Mingxi's beautiful big eyes revealed a puzzled expression. She didn't seem to know what family meant. Perhaps it was because she was too young, but she could still understand what go out meant. She nodded and stretched out her small hand. Lin Feng held Li Mingxi in his arms and walked out. I don't know if we can get out alive. Lin Feng was a little worried. But what Lin Feng didn't expect was that along the way, they were unimpeded. He was very puzzled. How did he walk out of such a terrifying place of death like this? We finally left. We can live a more comfortable life. Chapter 670. There were 7 people surrounding Lin Feng. Yu Buayun, Ancestor Xianmo, He Hongxian, Zhang Shang, and Li Guangxiao were the only ones left. There were also 2 yin-yang realm cultivators. Lin Feng didn't recognize them. However, it was obvious that they wanted to kill Lin Feng. In the surroundings, many people looked over with killing intent. However, they didn't attack immediately. It was too inconceivable to come out alive from a place of death. He must have obtained a great opportunity. Otherwise, how could he have escaped alive? What's that smell? It's so refreshing. A powerful being who was hiding in the dark sniffed the air and said in surprise. Suddenly, he looked at Lin Feng's pocket. Lin Feng quickly put the 2 red fruits into his storage ring. Holy herbs, said another almighty. Only holy herbs can emit such a smell. The sound of people sucking in cold breaths could be heard. Everyone looked at Lin Feng fervently. Mingxi, don't be afraid. Bury your head in my arms. Don't look at anything. Lin Feng took out a long piece of cloth and tied Li Mingxi to his body. He was worried that he wouldn't be able to take care of her during the battle. I am not afraid. Li Mingxi suddenly smiled. She was innocent and cute. Her voice was crisp and light. However, Lin Feng found it strange. Li Mingxi seemed to have just learned how to speak. However, Lin Feng didn't think too much about it. Li Mingxi grabbed Lin Feng's clothes and looked around with her big black eyes. Then, she buried her head in Lin Feng's arms. Ancestor Xianmo and the others were confused. Why was Lin Feng hugging a little girl? However, they didn't think too much about it. The little girl seemed very ordinary. Boy, you actually managed to escape from the god-falling cliff. You're really not simple. Ancestor Xianmo looked at Lin Feng sinisterly. Ha 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 ha. Even though we managed to escape, even though we managed to obtain an enormous opportunity inside, all of this now belongs to us. Yu Buayun sneered. The 7 yin-yang realm cultivators' faces were filled with killing intent. Lin Feng glanced at the 7 of them before his gaze finally landed on the 2 unfamiliar cultivators. And who are you people? He asked indifferently. Immortal Feather Sect, Chile, Wind Cavern, Suqing. The 2 of them looked indifferent. Immortal Feather Sect? Fengyang Cave? Where are they from? Lin Feng muttered to himself. These people wanted to kill him, not because they had a grudge against him. It was all for Lin Feng's treasures and secret techniques. Now, Lin Feng had walked out of the land of death. This made people's imaginations run wild. The 2 of them sneered but did not say anything. Lin Feng glanced at the 2 of them coldly. In the future, Immortal Feather Sect and Wind Cavern will be destroyed because of your stupidity. Boy, you're about to die, yet you still dare to boast shamelessly. Everyone, let's kill this boy. Chile sneered. All right, let's do it. The 7 yin-yang realm cultivators began to prepare their attacks. Rumble. Soon, a terrifying attack was formed. When the secret techniques executed by the 7 powerhouses merged together, they formed a torrent of attacks. The expressions of many Yin-Yang realm cultivators who were watching the battle suddenly changed. Such a powerful attack. How could that boy block it? Was he going to be killed? Many people revealed a sneer on their faces. When Lin Feng was killed, they would snatch the treasures on Lin Feng's body. Many people were eyeing Lin Feng's treasures covetously. It was the same for some of the Almighties. This was the world of cultivators. Killing for benefits. It was too common. Black Dragon Sword. Lin Feng held the sword with both hands. Holding the Black Dragon Sword, he burned his lifespan. In an instant, 20 years of his lifespan was burned. The power of the Black Dragon Sword was activated. Slash. Lin Feng shouted. The sword slashed out. Roar. A high-pitched dragon roar resounded through the sky. The Black Dragon Sword emitted a terrifying aura that could destroy heaven and earth. The Black Dragon Sword that had consumed 20 years of Lin Feng's lifespan to activate. Its power was indeed powerful. Pooh. The attacks of the 7 cultivators were instantly torn apart. The dazzling and powerful sword light swept out. Such power was so strong that it made one's heart tremble. Ripping sounds could be heard. Yu Buoyun and He Hongxian were instantly killed. They couldn't block the Black Dragon Sword's attack at all. The others frantically retreated. They took out powerful defensive Dharma treasures to block Lin Feng's attack. However, this attack was too powerful. Lin Feng burned 20 years of his lifespan to use this attack. It wasn't something an ordinary Yin-Yang realm cultivator could block. The Dharma treasures were also torn apart by this attack. That kid is holding the Black Dragon Sword. What? It's actually that treasure? Didn't they say that it was destroyed long ago? Some cultivators recognized the Black Dragon Sword in Lin Feng's hand and immediately cried out in alarm. No. Patriarch Xianmo and the others cried out in fear. They fled frantically. However, they couldn't block Lin Feng's attack. Pooh. Ripping sounds could be heard one after another. Patriarch Xianmo, Zhang Shang, Li Guangxiao, Qi Lei, and Su Qing were also killed one after another. Lin Feng took their storage rings and shot into the distance. However, soon, more cultivators rushed towards Lin Feng. Kid, leave your life behind. A cold voice suddenly rang out. 3 Yin-Yang realm cultivators attacked. Burn your lifespan. Lin Feng shouted in his heart and burned 40 years of his lifespan. In exchange for great power, he slashed out with his sword. Pooh. The 3 Yin-Yang realm cultivators were instantly killed. He could use it again. His lifespan would be doubled. However, the Black Dragon Sword's power would also be doubled. Everyone, don't be afraid. This kid is burning his lifespan to activate the Black Dragon Sword. He only has 200 years of lifespan in total. He has already burned his lifespan twice. I'm guessing that this kid can burn his lifespan one more time before his lifespan is almost exhausted. Continue to burn his lifespan. An expert sneered. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. More than a dozen figures appeared. Powerful Dharma treasures flew out one after another. They charged towards Lin Feng. Die. Lin Feng sneered. 80 years of lifespan. He instantly burned it. In exchange, he gained even greater power. He slashed out with his sword. The Black Dragon Sword slashed out a sword light that pierced through heaven and earth. It swept across the surroundings. The Dharma treasures were instantly destroyed. Then, the sword light slashed towards the dozen Yin-Yang realm cultivators who attacked. Run! The Yin-Yang realm cultivators' expressions changed drastically. They frantically retreated. Pooh! However, they were still cut down by the sword light. Kid, how dare you? A cold voice suddenly sounded. A Yin-Yang realm 7th firmament cultivator appeared. He slapped towards Lin Feng. Bang! This cultivator was too strong. He wasn't someone an ordinary Yin-Yang realm cultivator could compare to. He slapped Lin Feng and sent him flying dozens of meters away. Lin Feng slammed into a tree. The entire tree was broken. He fell to the ground, panting heavily. Kid, die. The Yin-Yang realm 7th firmament cultivator sneered. He quickly flew over and slapped towards Lin Feng. Chapter 671. That kid is going to die. Many people exclaimed. In their opinion, Lin Feng was definitely going to die this time. After all, Lin Feng had already burned his lifespan 3 times. His own lifespan should be almost used up, right? Therefore, he could no longer burn his lifespan to fight against the 7th level Yin-Yang realm expert. That terrifying attack came crashing down. At this moment, Lin Feng jumped up. Lifespan burn. 160 years of lifespan was burned. An even more powerful force erupted from the Black Dragon's sword. Die. Lin Feng swept his sword towards his opponent. Buzz. A 1,000-meter sword light instantly formed. It slashed down. Not good. The 7th level Yin-Yang realm cultivator's expression changed drastically. However, this person was indeed powerful. Purple Path Divine Firmament Lightning Indestructible Protection Technique. This Yin-Yang realm's 7th firmament cultivator used his full strength to execute a powerful secret technique. Around his body, purple lightning intertwined. Dense runes circled around him. They formed a lightning barrier. When Lin Feng's attack came crashing down, it was actually blocked by the light shield he had condensed. Ha ha ha, kid. This is your last attack, right? I blocked it. Let's see how you die later. The 7th Sky Yin-Yang realm expert laughed out loud. He was indescribably arrogant. Lin Feng sneered. It's too early to be proud. Lifespan burn. Support? Lin Feng shouted in his heart. The 4th attack. It hadn't dissipated yet. As long as it hadn't dissipated, he could continue burning his lifespan to support this attack. Lin Feng burned another 100 years of his lifespan to support the 4th attack. Instantly, the power of the sword qi increased greatly. Pooh! The barrier was torn apart. How is this possible? The 7th level Yin-Yang realm cultivator roared in disbelief. The next moment, his body. It was torn in half. A high-level Yin-Yang realm cultivator was also killed by Lin Feng. Lin Feng used the Black Dragon sword to cut down 4 attacks, killing dozens of Yin-Yang realm experts. However, he had already consumed 400 years of his lifespan. The 5th attack, he would lose 320 years of his lifespan. But obviously, Lin Feng could no longer launch a 5th attack. Swish, swish, swish. Terrifying figures appeared one after another. They were all almighty-level existences. They finally made their move. Boom. A mighty figure swept out an attack and sent Lin Feng flying. Wow. Lin Feng spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was deathly pale. They were done for. He was dead meat. I've implicated you. Lin Feng rubbed Li Mingxi's head and couldn't help but sigh. Big. Brother. Brother. Li Mingxi bit her lip and reached out to wipe the blood from Lin Feng's mouth. It's time for everything to end. Several mighty figures hidden in the mist attacked, wanting to kill Lin Feng. It was a dangerous moment. A saber gleam appeared in the sky. Demonic saber appears. A low roar resounded in the sky. The saber gleam instantly slashed down. It was as if heaven and earth were about to be split apart. Demonic saber, it's Nailinjing. Nailinjing, do you think you can save this kid from boundless space and time? What a joke. Break, break, break. A few almighty experts sneered. They made their moves and attacked the blade aura. Hurry up and leave. Nailinjing's voice resounded in Lin Feng's ears. Lin Feng didn't dare to hesitate. He carried Li Mingxi and frantically fled into the distance. A dazzling saber gleam drowned out heaven and earth. It collided with several almighty experts. Li Mingxi stuck her head out and looked in the direction of the god-falling cliff. A trace of coldness appeared in those originally pure and innocent big black eyes. Bang! An earth-shaking sound of collision suddenly surged. Several almighty experts and demonic saber Nailinjing collided across boundless space and time. They had broken through Nailinjing's attack, but Lin Feng had already disappeared without a trace. That kid ran away. The almighty experts looked gloomy. Damn it! It's all because of Nailinjing. He ruined our plan. Chase him. He can't have gone far. The almighty experts wanted to chase after Lin Feng, but at that moment, there was a shocking fluctuation in the depths of the god-falling cliff. There seemed to be endless anger. It surged out. What's that? Everyone looked at the depths of the god-falling cliff in shock. No one knew what had happened there. There was a terrifying fluctuation in the air. "Monarch, please calm down." A few trembling voices came from the depths of the god-falling cliff. The voices were extremely old. It was as if they had crossed the river of time, as if they had lived from ancient times to the present. In the mist, a pair of cold eyes looked at the figures in the abyss. "Nothing grows within 100 miles. A cold voice came. The pair of eyes then disappeared. Few, the existences in the depths of the land of death who had lived for countless years sighed. Then, they smiled bitterly. "Death Demon Monarch, you can attack." An old voice came. Yes, then, a younger voice came. The world, which had begun to brighten. Suddenly, it became dark. Endless black fog rushed out from the depths of the god-falling cliff. "Look, what's that?" Someone pointed at the depths of the god-falling cliff. "Heavens, there's a change in the land of death. Run." Countless people shouted in fear. Everyone ran away madly. The faces of the Almighties were also pale as they frantically rushed into the distance. Endless darkness covered the earth. "Look, a figure is coming out of the land of death." Someone shouted in fear. Everyone looked. Sure enough, they saw a blurry figure. His body, it was too huge. It was like he was supporting the sky and the earth. It was like he had come out of an endless purgatory. Everywhere he went, everything was destroyed. The flowers and trees were drying up. Life was withering. Why is it like this? The cultivators who were running away madly looked at their bodies in fear. Their bodies had turned into dust. They scattered with the wind. Ancient existence of the land of death, you dare to violate the immemorial divine pact and come out of the land of death. The almighty experts shouted in fear. What's the immemorial divine pact? Back then, the immemorial divine pact was signed by our monarch and the other monarchs together with the immemorial gods. Now, the immemorial gods have fallen and left, but our monarch is still immortal. You lowly ants dare to anger our monarch. You don't know what's good for you. The figure in the darkness that looked like a death god laughed coldly. The almighty experts wanted to tear open the void and escape. However, they soon discovered to their horror that their bodies were no longer the same. They began to crack. "No!" The almighty experts shouted in fear. The next moment, their bodies directly exploded. Endless darkness covered the earth. There was no life. They could escape. Lin Feng carried Li Mingxi and ran far away. Finally, he couldn't hold on and fell into the forest. Not far away, a small stream flowed. It made a tinkling sound. Li Mingxi got up from the ground and gently shook Lin Feng's body. When the endless darkness covered them, the death god in the darkness quickly retreated, not daring to get close. Chapter 672. Lin Feng felt a chill on his face. It was as if rain had fallen on his face. He opened his eyes. He saw the delicate Li Mingxi holding water from the stream and sprinkling it on his face. "It's good that you're still alive." Lin Feng smiled and rubbed Li Mingxi's head. "Big brother, are you feeling better?" Li Mingxi asked innocently. Lin Feng nodded and said, "Big brother will be fine." He sat up from the ground. Then, he took out a pill and swallowed it. Although there were still 2 cinnabar fruits and 10,000 years old elixirs, Lin Feng did not use these things. They were too valuable. It was better to use them at a critical moment. After absorbing the medicinal strength of the pill, Lin Feng's face regained some color. At this time, he looked into the distance. Suddenly, he revealed a dumbfounded expression. Looking into the distance, the dense forest, which was originally full of vitality, seemed to have turned into a land of death at this moment. Dead flowers, plants, and trees were everywhere. What's going on? Lin Feng had a dumbfounded expression. He had no idea what had happened at all. "Mingxi, do you know what happened?" Lin Feng squatted down and asked. Li Mingxi shook her head and made a sleeping gesture with her hands. She indicated that she had fallen asleep just now. "It's very likely to be related to the land of death. What a terrifying place." Lin Feng muttered and hugged Li Mingxi in his arms. Then, he soared into the sky and flew into the distance. The land of death was barren for 100 miles. The dead silence here was somewhat terrifying. Although the darkness had dissipated, there was still residual energy. It filled the air. It had not completely dissipated. An old figure, carrying a hoe, walked towards the direction of death step by step. It was an old man. He wore coarse clothes. He wore a bamboo hat. He looked like an old farmer who had just returned home after working in the fields. But with every step the old man took then, he disappeared from where he stood. The next moment, he had already appeared more than 10 miles away. Obviously, this was not an ordinary person. This old farmer. They entered the God-falling cliff, a land of death. The power of time swept over. However, he shattered it with a single kick. The power of the restriction swept over. However, it was difficult to injure his body. This old farmer was truly terrifying. Several restricted region creatures appeared, throwing themselves at the old farmer. Which forbidden zone creature couldn't instantly kill a supreme existence? However, in midair, the restricted region's creature's body collapsed. He couldn't even get close to the old farmer. This old farmer passed through the 9 mountains. They arrived at the depths of the land of death. Trespassing on the cultivation grounds of the primal chaos monarch? Do you have a death wish? A cold voice suddenly sounded. In the abyss, endless black fog filled the air. Within the black fog, an existence with 1 foot on the ground and the head of the sky above appeared. Death Demon Venerable. It was actually him. This existence had the least experience in the depths of the land of death. However, his cultivation was not inferior to the others. It could be said to be heaven-defying. Rumble. Death Demon Venerable made his move, grabbing at the old farmer. The old farmer smashed him with his hoe. Bang! Death Demon Venerable was sent flying. Even the void exploded. Distorted space-time power leaked out. You? Who are you? Death Demon Venerable had a serious expression. This old farmer's combat power. He was too strong. At their level, they could tell the strength of their opponent with just 1 attack. Death Demon Venerable was not his match. Where is the primal chaos monarch? The old farmer asked. His voice was very old. However, it had the majesty of a monarch. If you want to meet our primal chaos monarch, you will have to defeat me first. Endless black fog surged out of Death Demon Venerable's body. Death Demon Venerable, you are not his match. An old voice sounded. Next, in the endless abyss, an existence appeared, holding an ancient weapon. It was a weapon that caused the void to tremble and the great Tao to wail in sorrow. It was shrouded in divine light. It was impossible to see what it looked like. An imperial weapon. The existence in the depths of the land of death took out the imperial weapon. He confronted the old farmer. Clearly, he was extremely wary of the old farmer. You are still alive? The old farmer looked at the existence holding the imperial weapon in surprise. The existence laughed bitterly and said, I am indebted to the primal chaos monarch for allowing me to live until now. The primal chaos monarch is truly powerful, as expected of the leader of the 9 primal chaos monarchs. The old farmer sneered. So, the primal chaos monarch can tear apart the primal divine pact? My primal chaos monarch has gone through 100 reincarnations. Now is the time when he is most playful. Patriarch Shennon, why don't you understand? The mysterious existence said. The old farmer sneered. Understand? You unilaterally tore apart the primal divine pact? Do you think all the primal gods who made the pact have fallen? How laughable. If I don't punish you, won't the rest of the land of death revolt? Today, I will take the life of this Death Demon Venerable. Boom. He was too strong. When he attacked, the heavens collapsed, the earth cracked, the sun and the moon dimmed, the stars reversed, and the universe collapsed. Attack. In the depths of the land of death, several figures appeared. All of them had terrifying auras. They activated their ancient imperial weapons and swept toward the old farmer. Clang. Both sides engaged in a fierce battle. Several powerful existences with ancient imperial weapons in their hands were sent flying. You want to fight me with just the likes of you? Even your primal chaos monarch didn't dare say he could defeat me. The old farmer sneered and swung his hoe, sending the rulers of the forbidden lands flying. As expected of the primal dragon-esque elephant's junior brother. Even if he can't compare to your senior brother, he's still terrifying enough. One of the rulers of the Forbidden Lands sneered. His voice contained a hint of mockery. The old farmer's expression sank. He sneered and said, "Are you trying to say that I'm inferior to my senior brother? Have you thought about the price of infuriating me?" Boom! A great battle erupted. This battle was truly tragic to the extreme. The surrounding void kept collapsing. The entire desolate realm and barbarian realm trembled violently. Countless people turned pale with fright. They didn't know what was going to happen. "You want to destroy desolate realm and barbarian realm?" "We don't care," said one of the existences. "We haven't awakened our imperial weapons because we don't want to destroy desolate realm and barbarian realm." "Are you threatening me? Do you think I won't flatten the god-falling cliff?" The old farmer sneered. Light flashed as a small cauldron appeared in his hand. The cauldron's aura was comparable to the imperial weapons of the rulers of the Forbidden Lands. Imperial weapon, Shennong's cauldron. The rulers of the Forbidden Lands took a deep breath. "You've even brought a great imperial weapon with you. Indeed, you can kill us with it, but if we activate it before we die, the 72 prefectures in the north will be annihilated instantly." "Is that what you want to see, Ancestor Shennong?" said the oldest ruler of the Forbidden Lands. "I'm confident I can destroy you before you destroy the 72 prefectures," said the old farmer. His eyes were cold. The rulers of the Forbidden Lands felt a headache coming on. The old farmer was too strong. They couldn't fight against him. It was indeed troublesome for them to deal with this. At that moment, a ball of primal chaos light appeared in the boundless mist. A petite figure appeared in the primal chaos light. It looked like a little girl. She smiled and said, "Shennong, I've reincarnated 100 times. You're not my match. If we fight, it won't be good for either of us." "What if I join in? Can we kill you?" Zhang Jiushi stepped forward. Chapter 673. Zhang Jiushi, you're still alive. I knew that when the ancient gods left, they would choose you to protect the immemorial divine pact. The girl's voice grew colder and colder. "Impudent. Is this how you speak to your elders from the same clan?" sneered Zhang Jiushi. "What do I have to do with you? I've long since had nothing to do with your race." The girl's voice grew colder and colder. The space around her was collapsing. She seemed to be angry. 100 reincarnations won't be enough to quell your hatred. Zhang Jiushi sighed. "Let's join hands and get rid of her. If we don't, we'll be in big trouble in the future. Once 100 reincarnations is completed, suppressing her will be as difficult as ascending to the heavens," said the old man. Killing intent flashed in his eyes. "Then let's try." The girl reached out, and the ancient imperial weapon flew into her hand. "A mere clone dares to fight against us? We'll kill you in 3 moves. Where's your real body?" asked the old man coldly. "If you want my real body to fight, you'll have to kill my clone first," said the girl coldly. The little girl said coldly. She had no intention of backing down. Zhang Jiushi sighed. The old man's expression sank. "Brother Jiushi, are you going to withdraw from this battle? We can't violate the immemorial divine pact." "Of course, we can't violate it, but everything is still under control," Zhang Jiushi said. "If we start a war, the casualties will be too severe." Of course, the old farmer knew this very well. He frowned. Zhang Jiushi said, "Hand over the imperial weapon. Then your real body will return to the God Cliff. Don't show yourself for 100 years, and we'll forget about this matter. What do you think?" The girl snorted. She didn't want to. "Although I don't know why you left with that kid. Have you thought about how many people will die once the immemorial divine pact's guardians and the sovereigns of the death impasse start a war? When the battle starts, even you can't guarantee that kid's survival, right?" said Zhang Jiushi. "You dare threaten me? If you dare touch him, I'll kill you." The girl's voice was bone-chilling. The rulers of the other forbidden zones couldn't help but shudder. They had never seen a sovereign show such terrifying killing intent, even during the immemorial war. Not even the monarch was this angry, said Zhang Jiushi. "You don't need to worry about what I'll do to that boy. In fact, I've already met him before you met him. I think highly of him. He's not simple, and his background is even more complicated." "Oh?" The little girl was surprised. "His mother is." "Haha, Maybe you'll find out in the future. Zhang Jiushi laughed strangely. Even if you sovereigns of the land of death knew about his mother's background, you would still be shocked. The little girl seemed to be very dissatisfied with Zhang Jiushi's suspense. She could not help but snort. The great imperial weapons don't belong to you. The little girl waved her right hand, and the monarch weapon tore through heaven and earth, disappearing without a trace. I'll be back in a month. I won't appear again for 100 years. As for you, quickly leave the Godluo cliff. The little girl's figure gradually faded. In the end, it disappeared. Let's go. Burial of the Ninth Era's Path. Although the old farmer was not satisfied with this result, he was still able to make the primal Chaos Monarch send the Monarch weapon into the universe. He was also able to make the Chaos Monarch go into seclusion for 100 years. This was already a pretty good result. They left the Godluo cliff. The old farmer pointed at the void with his right hand. In an instant, countless images appeared. Finally, the image locked onto a young cultivator around 20 years old. The images flickered. It even included the scene of Lin Feng being chased by the silver creature in the forbidden area. It also included the scene of Lin Feng fainting while carrying Li Mingxi. Who's that boy? The old farmer was very surprised. The primal Chaos Monarch. He was an existence that had given the ancient gods a headache. Of course not. Why would he approach a boy who was only a martial king for no reason? Such a cultivator, in the eyes of the primal Chaos Monarch, he was no different from an ant. 100 reincarnations. The things she's experienced are not something we can imagine, said Zhang Jiushi. The old farmer nodded. The old farmer nodded and said, looks like that kid really isn't simple. Who do you think his mother is? Do you remember the race that only had 4 or 5 people? Zhang Jiushi took a deep breath and said, what? No way. How is that possible? Wasn't that race destroyed in the primordial era? The old farmer shook his head in disbelief. Burying the 9 heavens, killing countless immortals, changing the order of the world, forcefully breaking open the undying world, opening a door for the undying world, allowing cultivators from other worlds to ascend to the undying world. That race is really terrifying. But there are still descendants who survived. Zhang Jiushi said, that boy seems to have cultivated the immemorial dragonesque elephant art. It seems that he really has inherited the bloodline of that race. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to obtain my senior brother's inheritance. The old farmer frowned. Indeed. Back then, your fellow disciple followed that race, the one who broke open the immortal world for 3,000 years. He learned a lot. Zhang Jiushi sighed. I'll find time to visit that boy, said the old farmer. But don't contact him. Our duty is to protect the immemorial treaty. As for the affairs of the mortal world, they have nothing to do with us. Zhang Jiushi said. The old farmer nodded and said, I know that. I just want to see how much potential that boy has. You'll be even more surprised if you see it. His 2 bloodlines haven't awakened yet. Zhang Jiushi said. 2 bloodlines? That's right. Since his mother is from that race, his father must not be an ordinary person. The old farmer frowned slightly, and then his expression suddenly changed. He's that person's son? Zhang Jiushi smiled bitterly and nodded. That's right. He's the son of that boy who was the first to enter the immortal world in 100,000 years. When his father left, he went to my place. The old farmer was silent for a moment. What did he say? Zhang Jiushi was startled. Lin Feng carried Li Mingxi to the world above ground. Little girl, are you hungry? Lin Feng rubbed Li Mingxi's head and asked. Li Mingxi shook her head. Lin Feng muttered to himself. It had been a few days, and Li Mingxi hadn't eaten anything. Was there something wrong with her body? When he returned to the mine, he would have to check on her. However, Lin Feng didn't know that. Mortal things. How could they enter Li Mingxi's eyes? In the underground world, news of what had happened outside the land of death quickly spread. Within 100 miles, not even a blade of grass grew. Countless creatures died tragically. Even the countless cultivators who had gone to the land of death's Godfall cliff disappeared. Even a few almighty existences had disappeared. This matter could be said to have caused a huge uproar. Countless powers were alarmed. The higher-ups of many ancient powers had no choice but to quickly gather because of this matter. They discussed what had happened in the Land of Death in private. While the Tianwu continent was in an uproar because of the Land of Death, Lin Feng carried Li Mingxi back to the ancient barbarian mine. What Lin Feng hadn't expected was that the fire Qilin had come from the Blue Cloud sect to the ancient barbarian mine for some reason. He hadn't seen the fire Qilin in a while, and he missed it. "Brat, I have something important to tell you." The fire Qilin waved its paw. Something important? Lin Feng was startled. It seemed that this matter wasn't simple. The fire Qilin never spoke without thinking. It definitely had something important to tell him. "Big doggy." Li Mingxi jumped down and reached for the fire Qilin. The fire Qilin was furious. Where did this brat come from? How dare she call herself a big doggy? It was about to slap her. However, when it saw the little girl's appearance, the fire Qilin was so frightened that it fell to the ground. It trembled. Chapter 674. Big Dog, Stand Up. Li Mingxi grabbed the fire Qilin's tail and lifted it up. The corner of Lin Feng's mouth twitched violently. He was really worried that the fire Qilin would slap Li Mingxi away. This guy was not a good-tempered person. Moreover, as a divine beast, it had the dignity of a divine beast. "Mingxi, let go of him quickly, or he'll bite you." Lin Feng could only persuade Li Mingxi like this. However, the fire Qilin gave Lin Feng a slap and said righteously, "Brat, what are you saying? I am the most loving person in the world." "Big brother who hit Mingxi. Mingxi doesn't like you anymore." Li Mingxi threw the fire Qilin on the ground and stepped on it twice. "I was wrong. Please spare me." The fire Qilin wailed. Lin Feng also felt that the fire Qilin was just teasing Li Mingxi. He didn't think of anything else. He carried Li Mingxi, then looked at the fire Qilin and said, "Come with me and help me check Mingxi's body. She hasn't eaten anything for a few days, but I didn't find anything wrong with her body. Take a look too." The fire Qilin was very unwilling, but it didn't dare to not follow. He came to Lin Feng's room and pretended to check it. Then, he said, "There's no problem, don't worry." Li Mingxi waved her hand, and a spirit fruit appeared in her hand. Then, she took a bite. "Big brother, I can eat one fruit like this every few days." Li Mingxi said naively, "Dragon snake fruit." The corner of Lin Feng's mouth twitched violently. This was an extremely rare spirit fruit. If one ate it often, their cultivation would advance by leaps and bounds. However, it was said that only the top forces in the ancient era would treat the dragon snake fruit as food. Because it was too precious, it couldn't be seen from the outside. There was a bracelet on Li Mingxi's wrist. It was a storage bracelet. The thing was taken out from it. Lin Feng was guessing Li Mingxi's identity. Obviously, it was not simple. She was probably the successor of some ancient power, right? Although she was only 4 or 5 years old. Li Mingxi's body was fine, and Lin Feng was finally relieved. After Shi Weizhu and the others found out that Lin Feng had returned, they immediately went to see Lin Feng. "What a cute little girl. Junior brother Lin, where did you bring this little girl back from?" Shi Weizhu wanted to pick Li Mingxi up. Li Mingxi's gaze turned slightly cold. Shi Weizhu felt as if her body had fallen into a bottomless abyss. He didn't dare to step forward. Soon, she was puzzled. What was going on just now? It was a strange feeling. He took another step forward. It seemed that he would be doomed eternally. "I saw Mingxi in the underground world. I don't know which great power she's from, so I'll let her stay in the mine for now. When I return to the Blue Cloud sect, I'll help her find her family," Lin Feng said. The fire Qilin sneaked out. "Big doggy, don't run." Li Mingxi giggled and chased after him. The fire Qilin was depressed. "My little ancestor, can you let me go?" He could only pray in his heart. It was clearly a divine beast, the fire Qilin, but it was called a big doggy. Even if it wanted to refute something, it didn't dare to refute. It was really sullen. "Big doggy, quickly become bigger. I want to ride a big horse." Li Mingxi grabbed the fire Qilin's tail and said. The fire Qilin was helpless. Its body became much bigger. Li Mingxi rode on the fire Qilin and shouted, "Hiya!" The fire Qilin ran as fast as lightning into the distance. After playing crazily for an entire day, Li Mingxi was finally tired. She hugged Lin Feng's neck and fell asleep. Lin Feng placed Li Mingxi on the bed. Then, he planned to ask the fire Qilin what happened that made it rush over from the Blue Cloud sect. But what made Lin Feng speechless was that the fire Qilin was nowhere to be seen. Lin Feng looked around the mine, but he couldn't find the fire Qilin. Where did this guy go? Lin Feng couldn't help but be speechless. Halfway through, it piqued his curiosity and ran away. Dozens of miles away from the ancient barbarian mine, a black shadow flashed past. It was the fire Qilin. Why did that pervert run out? What does Lin Feng have to do with that freak? I'm going to leave. The fire Qilin ran away with a sad face. The days after that gradually returned to normal. Most of the time in the ancient barbarian mine was spent on cultivation. Young master, I want to take my sister and leave temporarily. We need to go to a place. I hope that master can approve. After I'm done, I will go and find master. Di Shixian said. Li Mingxi, who was sitting on a stool and kicking her legs while eating the dragon snake fruit, saw Di Shixian. Her big black eyes revealed a trace of surprise. But it was only for a moment. Lin Feng nodded and said, "The outside world is dangerous. You and little you have to be careful. There are some spirit stones, magic treasures, and some cultivation techniques and secret techniques in this storage ring. Take them with you to protect yourself." "Thank you, young master." Di Shixian thanked him. At night, Lin Feng decided to organize all the storage rings he got. He had killed so many experts. Lin Feng obtained the storage rings of some experts. After organizing them, he found more than 200 supreme-grade spirit stones. This made Lin Feng smile. Supreme-grade spirit stones were precious. Even yin-yang cultivators would find it difficult to accumulate them. This was because yin-yang cultivators also needed supreme-grade spirit stones to cultivate. It was already considered great luck to be able to obtain more than 200 supreme-grade spirit stones. In addition, there were also more than 100 treasure-grade magic treasures, more than 1,600 spirit-grade magic treasures, and so on. These things could be sold at a high price. Lin Feng found a few jade tubes in the Black Demon Patriarch storage ring. They were not cultivation techniques or secret techniques. Instead, they recorded some things about the Black Demon Patriarch sect. Black Demon, Black Demon, Black Underworld. Lin Feng was abnormally shocked. It turned out that the Black Demon Patriarch had a senior brother called the Black Demon Patriarch and a junior brother called the Black Underworld Patriarch. Lin Feng did not know the Black Demon Patriarch. However, Lin Feng knew the Black Demon Patriarch. Back then, the Black Demon Patriarch and the others had besieged the Beast Emperor Qiongqi. In the end, they all died miserably. Lin Feng did not expect the Black Demon Patriarch to be the Black Demon Patriarch's junior brother. Days passed. Lin Feng's cultivation was also steadily increasing. Not long after, Lin Feng had already reached the peak of the 9th level of the Martial King realm. He was only one step away from the 10th level of the Martial King realm. Lin Feng planned to settle down for a while. Then, he would break through to the 10th level of the Martial King realm. In the past few days, Lin Feng found that Li Mingxi's mood was not particularly good. Lin Feng brought Li Mingxi to play in the forest. Li Mingxi had also lost her usual nimbleness. "Little girl, what's wrong? Why are you unhappy? Can you tell me? Are you homesick?" Lin Feng rubbed Li Mingxi's head and asked. Li Mingxi said, "Big brother, don't forget Mingxi." "Silly girl, of course I won't forget Mingxi." Lin Feng was a little puzzled as to why Li Mingxi would say such a thing. However, on the second day, Li Mingxi disappeared without a trace. There was something on the table. It was a jade pendant. The words Li Mingxi were written on it. Has she left? Did the little girl's elder come to pick her up? Lin Feng frowned, feeling very reluctant. No wonder the little girl's mood was not very good these few days. It was very likely that her elder had come. Li Mingxi knew that she was leaving, so she was very unhappy. Although he had only been with Li Mingxi for a month. However, he realized that the little girl had already integrated into his life. Li Mingxi's sudden departure. This made Lin Feng feel a little sad. Chapter 675. At night, the ancient barbarian mining area was shrouded in darkness. Many figures appeared outside the ancient barbarian mining area. These figures exuded a sinister and terrifying aura. They sensed carefully. They were all evil experts. There were even earth demons. Evil forces. Earth demons from the underground world. They surrounded the ancient barbarian mining area. Is there really what we're looking for under the ancient barbarian mining area? It can't be wrong. That thing is buried under the ground. Since that's the case, the ancient barbarian mining area should be filled with blood. We can't let anyone go. Tell everyone to get ready. We'll attack in 2 hours. A sinister voice sounded in the darkness. On the road to the ancient barbarian mining area, more than 10 cultivators rode on strange beasts and rushed over. Among these cultivators, there was an Yin-Yang realm expert. Upon closer inspection, there was even a disciple of the Blue Cloud sect among them. It was the disciple who had received Kim Jonkei's order to deliver the letter. This group of people was from the ancient barbarian kingdom's Sikong clan. They were also from Kim Jonkei's mother's clan. This was Kim Jonkei. He had gone to ask for help. He wanted his mother to send experts to kill Lin Feng. These people were the experts sent by the Sikong clan. Of course, they hid themselves and wore black clothes. When he made his move, he did it quietly. They wanted to kill Lin Feng. They quickly left. They didn't want to cause trouble. Sir, we're almost at the ancient barbarian mining area. The Blue Cloud sect disciple said. Yes, the Yin-Yang realm expert nodded. Hee. But at this moment, a gloomy voice suddenly rang out. It sounded like the cry of a ghost. It was so terrifying. Black fog rolled in the forest. Inside the black fog, there were countless evil demon experts and subterranean demon clans. Not good, it's the demons. The Yin-Yang realm expert from the Sikong clan was shocked. Without even thinking, he turned around and fled into the distance. But at that moment, a flying Azura appeared. It was a Yin-Yang realm flying Azura. It charged toward the Sikong clan expert. Pooh! The flying Azura instantly tore apart the body of the Yin-Yang realm warrior from the Sikong family. High-level Yin-Yang realm. The Yin-Yang cultivator from the Sikong clan laughed bitterly and fell to the ground, dead. Leave no one alive. The flying Azura waved his hand. Spare me. The disciples of the Blue Cloud sect and the cultivators of the Sikong clan begged in fear. However, they were soon engulfed by the black fog. In the room, Lin Feng sat cross-legged. He looked at the 90,000 stars. To increase his soul power. For Lin Feng, cultivation was equivalent to rest. If you don't put in 10 times more effort than others, how could he become an expert? How could he save his mother? The soul of a cultivator of the good fortune realm is indeed extraordinary. Chapter 676. 4 Yin-Yang realm experts surrounded him. Of these 4 experts, one was a yaksha, one was a white-haired Azura, one was an evil expert, and one was a demonic expert. Lin Feng was in trouble now. Although his strength had increased greatly, Lin Feng hadn't broken through to the Yin-Yang realm yet. He was surrounded by 4 Yin-Yang realm experts. All of a sudden, danger surrounded them. Shiweizhu and the others turned pale. They wanted to help Lin Feng deal with the 4 Yin-Yang realm experts. However, their cultivation wasn't high enough. They would only die if they rushed forward. Protect yourselves. Don't be separated by the evil cultivators and the underground demons. Hurry up and break out. I have a way to escape. Lin Feng shouted at Shiweizhu and the others. Junior brother, be careful. We will protect ourselves. Shiweizhu and the others replied with pale faces. They didn't know if they could break out of the encirclement. However, they knew that the only thing they could do for Lin Feng now was to tell Lin Feng not to worry about them. The group of people was together with the evil cultivators, demon cultivators, and the underground demons. People were dying constantly. There were also evil cultivators, demon cultivators, and underground demons who were being killed. This was a large-scale battle. Anyone could die in a chaotic battle. Kid, worry about yourself first. The 4 experts sneered. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. The attacks of the 4 experts were stronger than the previous one. They attacked Lin Feng. Sky Splitter. Sword intent piercing the sky. Lin Feng shouted and fought with the 4 experts. Mining Area 4. Countless evil demon experts and subterranean devils swarmed over. Looking at the black mass of evil cultivators and underground demons rushing over, Kim Jong-K was so scared that his face turned pale. Damn it! Why are these evil cultivators and underground demons attacking the ancient barbarian mining area? Kim Jong-K's expression was as ugly as it could be. Evil cultivators, underground demons. They were very aggressive. They obviously wanted to kill them all. Break out! Kim Jong-K shouted. Senior apprentice brother, we've been completely surrounded. There's no way we can escape. A Blue Cloud sect disciple said with a pale face. Go and capture those miners. Have them protect us from the outside. Use them as shields. We'll deal with those experts and the subterranean devils. Maybe we'll be able to escape. Kim Jong-K said. Senior brother, isn't this too cruel? A disciple couldn't help but say. If they were to follow Kim Jong-K's plan, they would not be able to do anything. Those miners would become cannon fodder. If I tell you to go, then go. Do you want to die here? If the lives of those lowly miners can save us, then their deaths are worth it. Kim Jong-K shouted coldly. The corner of that disciple's mouth twitched, as if he wanted to say something. Kim Jong-K went up and kicked the disciple away. Do you want to die? You dare disobey my orders? Senior apprentice brother, please calm down. I'll go now. That disciple gritted his teeth and quickly got up. He went to the place where the miners were imprisoned. This was to prevent them from escaping. The place where the miners rested at night would be locked. The disciple cut the lock with his sword and entered the cave where the miners rested. He looked at the trembling miners. The disciple said, Everyone, run for your lives. After saying that, the disciple rushed out and fought with the evil spirit. Charge! Many miners rushed out. Damn it! You dare let those miners go? You don't know what's good for you. Kim Jong-K was furious and slashed out with his flying sword. Pooh! The flying sword pierced the disciple's chest. The disciple laughed bitterly and fell to the ground, dead. Senior apprentice brother, what are you doing? Many disciples looked angrily at Kim Jong-K. This person let the miners go without permission. This is disgraceful and should be killed. Kim Jong-K said coldly. But in the next moment, Kim Jong-K felt a sudden pain in his chest. He looked at his chest in disbelief. A dagger had pierced his chest from behind. Kim Jong-K turned his head. He saw a ferocious face. It was a miner. Among the miners, there were some who were quite strong. Normally, they wouldn't dare to resist. But now, the mining area was in chaos, and they dared to show their strength. I actually died at the hands of these lowly people. Jin Zhengkai let out a blood-curdling scream before he breathed his last. The miner who assassinated Kim Jong-K carried the Blue Cloud sect disciple that Kim Jong-K had killed and broke out of the encirclement. The other Blue Cloud sect disciples didn't attack him. Everyone kill. Even if we die here, we won't be cowards. That's right. Kill, kill, kill. Killing one won't be a loss. Killing two will be a gain. After Kim Jong-K died, the Blue Cloud sect disciples in Mining Area 4 erupted with unprecedented unity. Boom! They instantly fought with the experts of the evil demon race and the underground demons. Mining Area 1. Mining Area 2. Mining Area 3. The situation of the battle was also extremely tragic. This was a battle that was almost impossible to reverse. Regardless of the number of experts, the number of ordinary cultivators, the ancient barbarian mining area was at an absolute disadvantage. In this battle, it was inevitable that everyone in the ancient barbarian mining area would be wiped out. You're courting death. An angry roar sounded. An old man rushed over. It's Elder Wu Chong. The Blue Cloud sect erupted into cheers. Great Formation activate. Elder Wu Chong roared. He activated the Great Formation of the ancient barbarian mining area. They're finally here. Lin Feng couldn't help but be speechless at Elder Wu Chang's irresponsible behavior. He knew that there was a Great Formation in the ancient barbarian mining area, but Lin Feng didn't know where the eye of the formation was. Naturally, there was no way to activate it. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Elder Wu Chang arrived. Buzz! A terrifying fluctuation swept through heaven and earth. Boom! Boom! The ground cracked open. Following that, golden-armored puppet beasts rushed out from the ground. Golden-armored puppet beasts. Lin Feng was shocked. Golden-armored puppet beasts were extremely powerful existences among the puppet beasts. They were invulnerable. They were extremely strong. More than 1,000 golden-armored puppet beasts appeared. Those golden-armored puppet beasts wielded large blades and slashed at the experts of the evil demon race. In an instant, the pressure on the disciples of the Blue Cloud sect was greatly reduced. At the same time, lines of formation runes intertwined in the void and enveloped the Yin-Yang realm cultivators. The 12 Yin-Yang realm experts were all enveloped by the Great Formation. Elder, let me help you use the Great Formation to kill these people. Lin Feng roared and rushed into the sky. He had just been surrounded by 4 Yin-Yang realm experts. He was incomparably sullen. Now, he could finally take revenge. Are you Lin Feng? Brat, you caused quite a stir in northern Desolate City. When you return to the sect, you will be punished. Wu Chang let out a strange laugh as he gloated over his misfortune. Lin Feng couldn't help but be speechless. This elder really didn't know what to do. What kind of situation was this? And he still wanted to tease him. However, Wu Chang's eyes widened. Do you know anything about great formations? I know a little. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng's hands began to form seals. Condensing formation in the void. Earth rank, elementary rank, and advanced rank spirit array techniques. 1,000 devil vines. Dense tentacles appeared in the void. Those tentacles intertwined together. It was like a huge devil vine. The densely packed tentacles wrapped around the 12 Yin-Yang realm experts trapped by the formation. Earth rank spirit array technique. Wu Chang was moved. Unbelievable. This brat was only a martial king. How could he be an Earth rank spirit array master? He wanted to become an Earth rank spirit array master. His soul power had to at least reach the creation realm. His soul power has already reached the creation realm? Thinking of this, Wu Chang's heart was filled with shock and disbelief. Chapter 677. Elder Wu Chang was now at the 10th level of the Yin-Yang realm, but because he was a spirit array master, his soul power far exceeded that of ordinary cultivators. Therefore, his soul power had reached the 5th level of the creation realm, and Lin Feng, a martial king realm kid, was actually an Earth stage spirit array master? This was indeed too shocking. It was no wonder that Elder Wu Chang had such a shocked expression. A dense mass of tentacles wrapped around him. Those tentacles. Naturally, they weren't real tentacles. They were condensed from array patterns. This 1,000 Devil Vine Spirit Array technique was one of the strongest spirit array techniques that Lin Feng had learned. It was equivalent to the evolved version of the entanglement technique. Of course, its power was much stronger than the entanglement technique. The entanglement technique was only a yellow stage spirit array technique. The 1,000 Devil Vine technique was an earth stage spirit array technique. The difference between them. It was difficult to calculate. Spirit array technique. Not good. The other party wants to entangle us. Quickly cut off these tentacles. The Flying Azura's expression changed, and he couldn't help but shout in a deep voice. This Flying Azura was an evil demon. He was the strongest Yin-Yang realm demon in the underground demon race. He was at the 10th level of the Yin-Yang realm. He was at the same level as Elder Wu Chang. But now, he was trapped in the array and was in trouble. However, the Flying Azura had rich experience in fighting enemies. Even in the face of danger, he was also very calm. He sent out 4 people to block the dense tentacles. Flying swords flew out one after another. In the void, they shot out rapidly. The power was astonishing. Puff, puff. Tearing sounds could be heard. The tentacles that Lin Feng had condensed with the array. They were constantly cut off. But soon, they were reborn and continued to entangle. At the same time, Elder Wu Chang was also crazily activating the array. High-grade spirit stones burned like cabbages. The power of the array was increased. The killing array of the ancient barbarian mining area was activated. Terrifying murderous glows were formed and swept toward the Flying Azura and his crew. Attack with me, the Flying Azura shouted. Boom. The Flying Azura and the other 7 experts attacked together to block the array's attack. The attacks of both sides collided fiercely. Rumble. The earth shook violently. That tyrannical energy shockwave spread out. The surrounding forest was destroyed. It was unknown how many people had died under the attack of the energy shockwaves. Those guys have great teamwork and a lot of battle experience. We have to get rid of them quickly. Otherwise, if they break the deployment spell, we'll be in trouble. Elder Wu Chang's expression was extremely solemn. Right now, this was the most crucial moment. Either Lin Feng and Wu Chang relied on the power of the formation to kill the Flying Azura and the others, turning the tide of the battle. Either the Flying Azura and the others would break the formation and kill Lin Feng and Elder Wu Chang, or the Blue Cloud sect would be completely annihilated. Lin Feng's expression was rather gloomy because he and Elder Wu Chang were, after all, the two of them. Although they had gained a temporary advantage by relying on the formation, they were still able to do so. However, it was too difficult to kill 12 experts. He could rely on the power of the Black Dragon Sword. But the Black Dragon Sword, it required Lin Feng to burn 320 years of his lifespan. Lin Feng simply couldn't afford to consume it right now. Although he had the scarlet fruit on him, one scarlet fruit could extend one's lifespan by 500 years. But Lin Feng had already eaten one. Any heavenly material or earthly treasure would only be effective the first time it was eaten. Just like the scarlet fruit, if he ate it now, it would no longer be able to extend Lin Feng's lifespan. Therefore, there was no way to use the Black Dragon Sword. That's right, the bronze fragment. Lin Feng's eyes lit up as he thought of the treasure, the bronze fragment. Although using the bronze fragment would suck Lin Feng dry of his energy, causing Lin Feng to become weak. But there was no other way. He had to take the risk. Lin Feng said, "Elder, I have a treasure. If I use that treasure to attack that Flying Azura, as long as I can kill him or seriously injure him, those evil demon experts and earth demon experts will definitely be in chaos. At that time, we will have a chance of winning." "There's such a treasure? Quickly use it." Wu Chang's eyes lit up. In the next moment, the bronze fragment flew out. The bronze fragment was hidden among the densely packed tentacles. It avoided the Flying Azura's line of sight. Then, it quickly rushed toward the Flying Azura. By the time the Flying Azura discovered it, it was already too late. Not good. The Flying Azura's expression suddenly changed, and he wanted to dodge. But he couldn't. Pooh! The bronze fragment instantly pierced through the Flying Azura's chest. The Flying Azura's body fell down. "Brat, were you the one who plotted against me?" The Flying Azura was seriously injured, but he didn't die. He stabilized his body in midair and glared at Lin Feng with resentment. The other evil demon experts and earth demon experts' expressions changed when they saw the Flying Azura's serious injury. Just as they were panicking, tentacles wrapped around the 4 outermost evil demon experts who were in charge of blocking the 1,000 Devil Vines tentacles. Collapse. Elder Wu Chang seized the opportunity and activated the array. The array released a terrifying attack that instantly pierced through the 4 Yin-Yang realm experts. Bang, 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 bang. 4 consecutive explosions were heard. The 4 Yin-Yang realm evil demons' bodies exploded, and they died on the spot. Now, there were 8 people left. The Flying Azura was seriously injured. Lin Feng and Wu Chang smiled. They saw the hope of killing these evil demon experts and the subterranean devil race. You can't even do such a small thing, and you want me to do it personally?" But at that moment, a cold snort was heard. Hearing that cold snort, Lin Feng and Wu Chang felt as if they were struck by lightning. Their bodies flew backward, and their faces were as pale as a sheet. Endless black fog covered the sky and covered the sun. It was an almighty existence. An almighty existence of the demonic Tao had appeared. This was an expert of the creation realm. A Yin-Yang realm cultivator was as weak as an ant in front of a creation realm cultivator. Even Elder Wu Chang, who was at the 10th stage of the Yin-Yang realm, in front of a creation realm expert, he probably wouldn't be able to last more than 3 rounds. "Lord, we deserve to die." The Flying Azura and the other 8 Yin-Yang realm experts hurriedly knelt on the ground and kowtowed. All of them were trembling in fear. "Die." The demon expert hidden in the black fog had an indifferent expression. A huge pitch-black hand that was thousands of acres wide condensed and grabbed at Lin Feng and Wu Chang. An almighty demon expert is attacking. We're dead for sure. Many disciples, soldiers, and miners looked at the huge hand in the sky in horror. Lin Feng and Wu Chang struggled. However, it was difficult for them to resist the might of an almighty demon expert. When the huge hand came crashing down 100 miles away, in a bamboo forest, the old scholar was reading in front of the mountain god temple at night. Confucius said, "Isn't it good to practice what you learn? Isn't it good to have friends coming from afar? Isn't it good to be ignorant but not angry?" Confucius said, "It's rare to see someone who is filial to his younger brother and likes to offend his superiors. But it's rare to see someone who doesn't offend his superiors but likes to cause trouble. A gentleman focuses on his roots. His roots give birth to the Tao. Filial to one's younger brother is the root of benevolence." Confucius said, "Clever words and good intentions are rare." Confucius said, "I reflect on myself 3 times a day. Is it good to be disloyal to others? To be friends but not to trust them? Not to learn?" Scholar Ning was reading the Analects of Confucius. The Confucian scriptures were divided into the 4 books and 5 classics. The 4 books were the Analects of Confucius, Mencius, De Shui, and the Doctrine of the Mean. The 5 classics were the Book of Songs, Shangshu, Book of Rites, Zhou Yi, and the Spring and Autumn Annals. The 4 books and 5 classics were led by the Analects of Confucius, because the person who wrote this book was the founder of the Confucian path. He was known as Confucius Chiu, the sage of Confucius. Scholar Ning had been studying for more than 70 years. He had long cultivated a sense of righteousness. Around his body, there were wisps of white qi lingering. This was the so-called great righteousness. Scholars were able to cultivate an awe-inspiring righteousness. Suddenly, Scholar Ning, who was chatting in the middle of the night, raised his head and looked into the distance. In the distance, endless demonic fog covered the sky and covered the sun. The terrifying demonic aura was vast and mighty. Demon path demon. Scholar Ning was shocked. He stood up and shouted, "Which demon is it? How dare you come to the ancient barbarian kingdom and cause chaos? Quickly leave." Ning Xiucai's voice rang out. Great righteousness surged out of Scholar Ning's body. In the starry sky, purple energy existed forever. This was the great righteousness of the Confucian path. It represented the most righteous power in the world. Ning Xiucai's shout. In the ancient barbarian mining area, countless evil spirits exploded and died on the spot. Even the giant palm formed by the mighty figure hidden in the black mist was blown to smithereens. He felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He was sent flying. He spat out mouthfuls of blood. Great Confucian, how is this possible? Is there still a great Confucian in the Tianwu continent? The great being of the demon path was scared out of his wits. He grabbed Flying Azura and the others and fled into the distance, not daring to stay for even a moment. Instead, he used his righteous energy to convert the female ghosts, allowing them to reincarnate. One story contained righteousness, and benevolence. And every story, in fact, they were all elaborating on the same principle of life. Perhaps this was what Elder Wu Chang meant when he said that a great Confucian would write a book to expound his own Tao, allowing countless people to imitate him. Elder Wu Chang's Tao was to provoke people to ponder deeply through stories. Let's check the casualties first, then we'll go look for that Confucian expert. Elder Wu Chang glanced at his surroundings. He found that the Confucian master did not appear. He felt that the other party didn't seem to want to meet him. In his heart, he didn't have much hope of finding the other party. Lin Feng had already guessed that the great Confucian scholar was most likely Ning Xiucai, but he did not say it out loud. Because once he said it out loud, Ning Xiucai would probably be caught up in many worldly affairs. Ning Xiucai probably didn't want to see such a situation, right? Lin Feng quickly flew towards the 5th mine. He wondered how Shi Weizhu and the others were doing. When he arrived at the 5th mine, he saw Shi Weizhu, Wang Hu, and the others. His heart was finally at ease. Mo Yuning said in a sorrowful voice, 7 of the brothers who came with us died, and these were only the disciples who came with Lin Feng. Some of the older disciples, soldiers, and miners had suffered heavy casualties. Lin Feng patted Mo Yuning's shoulder. The 5 mines were all cleaning up the battlefield. Wang Hu said, Senior brother Zhou Zhao, senior sister Zhou Yuding, and senior sister Yu Zhuxin are all fine. But Kim Zhangke is dead? Kim Zhangke is dead? How did he die? Lin Feng was very surprised. Wang Hu sneered and said, It's said that Kim Zhangke wanted to use the miners as cannon fodder to block the attacks of the demons and underground demons, but the disciples who went to carry out the orders didn't want to see the miners die, so they secretly released the miners. In a fit of anger, Kim Zhangke killed the disciple, and some miners risked their lives to ambush Kim Zhangke and killed Kim Zhangke. He deserved it. He deserved it, many disciples said. Kim Zhangke's death was naturally very satisfying. Elder Wuchang was cleaning up the ancient barbarian mines. When the aftermath was almost done, Elder Wuchang sent people back to the Blue Cloud sect. They reported what had happened in the ancient barbarian mines to the higher-ups. They asked the higher-ups to send experts. Elder Wuchang was mainly worried that the evil demon experts and the underground devil race would attack again. It's really strange. Why would these demons and underground demons attack the ancient barbarian mines? Lin Feng was a little puzzled. If it was for the spirit stone resources, there shouldn't be such a need. The demons and underground demons also controlled the spirit stone mines. Therefore, this matter was very strange. Lin Feng thought for a long time, but he couldn't figure out the reason. He stopped thinking about it. He planned to go to elementary scholar Ning's residence to pay him a visit. Anyway, it wasn't very far away. After giving some instructions, Lin Feng flew to elementary scholar Ning's residence. When Lin Feng arrived, elementary scholar Ning was writing. When elementary scholar Ning was writing, golden flowers appeared above him. The flowers were gone in a flash. Wondrous blossom? Lin Feng was shocked. He had heard that when people wrote, they could integrate the great Tao of heaven into their writing. Today, he actually saw such a scene. This elementary scholar Ning is really a great scholar, Lin Feng muttered. When he saw elementary scholar Ning write, wondrous blossom, Lin Feng knew that elementary scholar Ning was definitely a great scholar. This point, there was no doubt at all. Young friend, you're here. Elementary scholar Ning put down the brush in his hand. When he saw Lin Feng, he smiled. Thank you for forcing the demons to retreat. Otherwise, our ancient barbarian minds would have been completely wiped out. Lin Feng bowed to elementary scholar Ning. Elementary scholar Ning said, Young friend, you don't have to be so polite. I've studied for more than 70 years, but I'm still somewhat useful. Now, it seems that the saying, 100 useless scholars are not very accurate. Elementary scholar Ning's words were somewhat self-deprecating. His experience could be described as the bleakness of his later years. It was natural for him to feel a little emotional. Young friend, you should study with me for the next few days. Studying will nourish your qi. I see that the purple qi above your head is rising into the sky. Soon, there will be some special changes, but now, the purple qi is unstable. You should stabilize it. Purple qi? Lin Feng was shocked. He didn't understand what elementary scholar Ning was talking about, but Lin Feng felt that it had something to do with breaking through to the yin-yang realm. Purple qi is the supreme qi. Young friend, purple qi comes from the east. Elementary scholar Ning said. Is this also a method of Confucianism? Lin Feng asked in surprise. Elementary scholar Ning said, I've heard of Confucianism, but I don't understand its cultivation techniques. I'm just an ordinary scholar. Studying will nourish one's qi, and it can also be observed. Qi is the foundation of a person. Chapter 679. Everyone was born with qi. Qi. It represented fate. When the ancient emperors went out, they would be surrounded by purple qi. This was the supreme qi. Through cultivation, one could nurture qi and make it stronger. However, qi was also different. Ning Xiaocai explained, ordinary people have white qi, cultivators have green qi, and those who are blessed by the heavens have golden qi. Some people are as rare as phoenix feathers and qilin horns. They are purple qi and are naturally different from others. Among the purple qi, there are several types. Among them, The dark purple qi from the east is the most powerful. What can you tell from qi? Lin Feng asked. Qi is stable. Only then can one's cultivation be stable. Ning Xiaocai smiled. Nurturing qi through reading. That was the principle. In ancient times, there was a great scholar who didn't know how to cultivate. He nurtured qi through reading for 80 years, and then directly went through the lightning tribulation to become a god. Righteous qi was one of the types of purple qi. It was also one of the most noble dark purple qi. The more noble qi was, the rarer it was. The higher the birth chart, the greater the achievements in the future. For example, the ancient emperors all had purple qi from the east. However, no one had heard of the ancient emperors having green qi from the heavens. This was the so-called birth chart. The qi that one possessed could often be used to peek into the future. Although some people could defy the heavens and change their qi and break through the restrictions of the heavenly Tao on their birth chart. However, it was obviously as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Lin Feng was reading beside Ning Xiaocai. The first thing he read was the Analects. It was the first of the 4 books and 5 classics. Confucius said, to govern with virtue, for example, Beichen. Where he resides, all the stars are there. Confucius said, the 300 poems, in a nutshell, thinking without evil. Confucius said, to govern with virtue, and to punish with justice. The people are exempt from shame. To govern with virtue, and to punish with propriety. There is no shame. Confucius said, when I was 15, I was determined to learn. When I was 30, I stood up. When I was 40, I did not have any doubts. When I was 50, I knew my destiny. When I was 60, I was obedient. When I was 70, I followed my heart's desire. When Mengyi asked about filial piety, the master said, there is no violation. When Fanqi asked about filial piety, the master said, Meng's son asked about filial piety. I replied, there is no violation. Fanqi asked, what do you mean by also? The master said, in life, conduct affairs with propriety. In death, conduct burial with propriety. In sacrifice with propriety. In front of the mountain deity temple, Lin Feng was reading with scholar Ning. Lin Feng had just started studying. It was also impossible for him to be like elementary scholar Ning, who was able to cultivate righteous spirit through studying. However, after calming down and reading for 3 days, Lin Feng felt that his originally restless heart had calmed down. Moreover, Lin Feng felt that his cultivation was faintly about to break through again. This made Lin Feng very surprised. Purple qi is stable. Little friend, you've read to your heart. You're not reading just for the sake of reading. This makes me feel very gratified. Ning Xiaocai smiled. It's because you've taught me well. Lin Feng bowed to Ning Xiaocai like a scholar. He had refined more than 160 supreme-grade spirit stones in the mountain deity temple. Finally, Lin Feng completed his breakthrough. His cultivation broke through from the 9th firmament of the Martial King realm to the 10th firmament of the Martial King realm. He was about to reach the Yin-Yang realm. He was only 1 step away. Lin Feng was unable to observe qi like Ning Xiaocai. If he could observe qi, he would see it. As his cultivation improved, the purple qi above him became much stronger. The purple qi represented Lin Feng's luck and also his future. People who had purple qi were too rare. But people who had purple qi, usually, they had great luck. Some people went out and found money. Some people went out and got hit by a car. Why did something completely different happen when they went out at the same time? It was because of luck. At night, darkness enveloped the earth. Lin Feng was reading The Doctrine of the Mean beside Ning Xiaocai. The destiny of heaven is called nature, the straightforward nature is called Tao, and the cultivation of Tao is called teaching. Those who are Tao cannot leave it for a moment. Those who can leave it are not Tao. Therefore, a gentleman should be cautious of what he does not see and afraid of what he does not hear. Do not see what is hidden. Do not show what is small. Therefore, a gentleman must be cautious. When happiness, anger, sorrow, and joy are not expressed, they are called the middle. When they are expressed, they are called the sum. The middle is the foundation of the world. The sum is the Tao of the world. The middle is the birth of all things in the world. The first chapter of The Doctrine of the Mean was very catchy. Lin Feng discovered that the analects of the four books was very different from the doctrine of the mean. The analects talked about benevolence, righteousness, etiquette, and morals. This was the foundation of being a ruler, a minister, a father, and a son. The doctrine of the mean focused on oneness of heaven and man. This was the foundation of Tao cultivation. The four books and five classics of Confucianism were indeed not simple. No wonder there were great Confucians in ancient times who could directly pass the tribulation and become gods without cultivating. Because the four books and five classics contained too many great Taos of heaven and earth. Loyalty, filial piety, benevolence, righteousness, propriety, justice, integrity, and shame. Oneness of heaven and man, Tao of nature, and so on. While Lin Feng was reading with Scholar Ning, darkness enveloped them. Gusts of cold wind swept up. A whining sound came from the forest. It sounded like the crying of ghosts and the howling of gods. Ghosts. Lin Feng frowned, and it was a very powerful ghost. Otherwise, it would not dare to come here. Ghosts appeared in the deep mountains and forests. This was a very normal thing. Don't be distracted, Scholar Ning said. Lin Feng nodded and continued to read with Scholar Ning. At this moment, he read a scripture about ghosts and gods. Confucius said, "The virtues of ghosts and gods are great. Seeing them, one cannot see them. Hearing them, one cannot hear them. Seeing them, one cannot miss them. So that all people in the world will be convinced." The meaning of this sentence was, the Tao of ghosts and gods is really great. They cannot be seen or heard, but they are embodied in all things, making it impossible for people to leave them. Everyone in the world fasted and purified their hearts, wearing solemn and neat clothes to worship them. They are everywhere. They seem to be on your head and around you. This was actually a reflection of the saying, "There are gods watching over you." And while Lin Feng was reading, the world was getting darker and darker. In the darkness, a terrifying figure walked over step by step, a malicious ghost that had cultivated for 1,000 years. It had awakened from a deep sleep. The delicious flesh of humans. A gloomy voice came out. The 1,000-year-old malicious ghost was approaching the mountain god temple where Lin Feng and Scholar Ning were reading. At this moment, in the mountain god temple, divine light surged. The mountain god had appeared. Scholar Ning was reading to nourish his qi. His qi dispersed into the world. It was absorbed by the dying mountain god. The mountain god had recovered. Now, the mountain god had appeared and blocked the 1,000-year-old malicious ghost. This was what it meant to be able to connect with gods through reading. Even the gods came to help. Mountain god, you dare to stop me? Today, I will devour you as well. The 1,000-year-old malicious ghost laughed out loud. Endless darkness enveloped the mountain god. It instantly swallowed the mountain god. The 1,000-year-old malicious ghost laughed strangely. Aren't you still going to be devoured by this king? At this moment, suddenly, a vast amount of righteous energy surged out from the mountain god. The mountain god said, "I am reading to nourish my qi. My body has already merged with the vast amount of righteous energy. How can an evil ghost like you fight against me?" As soon as he finished speaking, the mountain god stretched out his right hand and grabbed the 1,000-year-old malicious ghost. Run! The 1,000-year-old malicious ghost saw that it was no match for the mountain god and turned to run. However, the mountain god grabbed the ghost by its neck and swallowed it whole. The mountain god was also reading to nourish his qi. His cultivation increased greatly. That was why he could easily devour the 1,000-year-old malicious ghost. The mountain god's body quickly disappeared. In the mountain god temple, the statue of the mountain god was surrounded by white smoke. Listen carefully. Apart from the sound of Lin Feng and Ning Shouzai reading, there was also the sound of someone else reading. It was faintly discernible. It should be the mountain god secretly reading the book, The Doctrine of the Mean, with Scholar Ning. Lin Feng cupped his fists. "Sir, please get on the carriage." A few beast carriages came from afar, and Mu Zhigong invited Lin Feng to board. Lin Feng boarded the first beast carriage, while the others boarded the other beast carriages. The boy who caused havoc in northern Wasteland City is back. He must be going back to the Blue Cloud sect. That's Mu Jigong, right? The third manager of the City Lord's office? This is interesting. The City Lord's office actually invited that boy as a guest. The Yin Dragon Gang won't have a good time in Northern Wasteland City. The Yin Dragon Gang has 3 Yin Yang Realm cultivators. 2 of them died in the underground world. Now, only Li Yanlong is left. The City Lord's office knows what to do. Just wait and see. The Yin Dragon Gang, one of the 3 biggest gangs in Northern Wasteland City, will probably be replaced by another gang. Many people pointed at them. Haha, Brother Lin, you're finally here. When Lin Feng arrived at the City Lord's office, Mu Wushu was already waiting outside with the other outstanding members of the Mu clan. Brother Mu. Lin Feng smiled and cupped his fists. Mu Wushu led everyone into the City Lord's office. Then, the banquet began. The banquet was very lively. Many of the younger members of the Mu clan looked at Lin Feng curiously. They naturally knew about the scene of Lin Feng's battle with Yu Buoyan. That day, in a single night, the area within a radius of 100 li around the land of death became barren. Countless cultivators died, and even a few almighty experts fell. Brother Lin, have you heard of what happened that day? Mu Wushu asked. Lin Feng replied, although I know, I've never experienced it. I don't know what happened. At the time, Lin Feng had fainted. He really didn't know what had happened to cause such a terrifying thing to happen. We were extremely lucky to have left early. Otherwise, we would have died. Mu Wushu rejoiced. A member of the Mu clan said, I heard that something in the depths of the land of death made a move. Let's not talk about those terrifying existences. We don't want to attract trouble. Mu Wushu said. The member of the Mu clan quickly nodded and didn't say anything else. The existences in the depths of the land of death were forbidden to anyone. They were forbidden to talk about. If they talked about it recklessly, it was very likely that some terrible things would happen. Therefore, very few people talked about them. Lin Feng stayed at the City Lord's office for 3 days. Lin Feng said his goodbyes. They used the teleportation array to return to the Blue Cloud sect. The disciples who had gone out to train also returned. I've always been worried that something might have happened to you. After all, that area isn't very peaceful. Tian Zhongdao let out a sigh of relief when he saw that Lin Feng was fine. That area was indeed not peaceful. First, something terrifying had happened in the land of death. Then, the experts of the evil demon race and the underground demon race had besieged the ancient barbarian mining area. Lin Feng said, I'm thankful to be able to come back alive. Lin Feng asked, what is it? Have you heard of it? I am not sure. However, on the way back to the Blue Cloud sect, something terrible happened. Tian Zhongdao said, what happened? Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat, and he couldn't help but ask. Something that could make the experts of the evil demon race and the underground demon race go to war. How could it be simple? 7 deacons, and mad, 3 Yin Yang Realm elders, said the deacons. Tian Zhongdao said with lingering fear. Because of that demon? Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. Tian Zhongdao nodded. Is the news reliable? Lin Feng asked. Of course, but it's reliable. They on the road, stopped for a few days in the area where Li, went a train. Tian Zhongdao said. Lin Feng nodded and said, it seems that the demon is not simple. It's definitely very scary. However, to the Blue Cloud sect, I'm afraid that it's not a blessing. Tian Zhongdao said, that thing shouldn't have been brought to the Blue Cloud sect. The experts of the evil demon race and the underground demon race spent so much effort to obtain it, and it's so terrifying. We should have sent it to the Palace of Immortality and let them deal with it. Lin Feng frowned. Humans are greedy. Tian Zhongdao said. Lin Feng shook his head. These things weren't something he could control. After all, he was just a disciple. I hope it won't bring disaster to the Blue Cloud sect. Lin Feng sighed. 3 days after returning, the Fire Qilin also returned to the Blue Cloud sect. That little girl didn't come with you, right? The Fire Qilin asked cautiously. She left with the elders. Lin Feng said. You said she left with the elders? The Fire Qilin's mouth twitched violently. The first place in the big competition would also be rewarded with 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. He could also get the chance to enter the small world in a flash to cultivate. The small world in a flash. It was the sacred ground of the Blue Cloud sect. It was said that there was the law of time in that place. This was amazing. Cultivating in the small world in a flash for a day might be equivalent to cultivating outside for a month. Cultivating in the small world for a month might be equivalent to cultivating outside for a few years. Lin Feng now needed to seize life from the heavens. Therefore, Lin Feng was looking forward to this big competition. Lin Feng estimated the time. There was still about half a year before the opening of the Ruins of God, and the sect competition would take a year. It was just enough to miss it. Even if he came back from the Ruins of God, he wouldn't miss the inner court competition. Lin Feng originally planned to invite Tian Zhongdao to the Ruins of God, but Tian Zhongdao had something to deal with and left the sect. Lin Feng decided to go to the East Sea alone. On this day, the great elder Guo Yin sent someone to inform Lin Feng. He told him to go to the inner court disciples' hall. Lin Feng didn't know why Guo Yin had called him. He walked towards the inner court disciples' hall. When he arrived, he found that quite a number of disciples had gathered. Dozens of disciples even stopped outside the inner court disciples' hall, as if some important figure had arrived. What happened? Lin Feng asked curiously. It's the woman that senior brother Huangfu Qingtian brought. A disciple sneered. Great senior brother Huangfu Qingtian? Lin Feng was surprised. Huangfu Qingtian wasn't an ordinary person. His reputation wasn't limited to the 72 northern states. He could even be ranked in the top 3 among the younger generation of the entire Tianwu continent. Huangfu Qingtian was only 25 years old. He was already at the 10th level of the yin-yang realm. This kind of cultivation was too terrifying. This woman was brought back to the sect by senior brother Huangfu 3 years ago. Now she's the manager of the Qingtian peak of senior brother Huangfu Qingtian. Relying on senior brother Huangfu's reputation, this woman can be said to be high and mighty in the sect. She's even more ostentatious than many core disciples of the yin-yang realm. Another disciple said. At this moment, several elders and a dozen deacons were surrounding the moon. A tall woman in a blue dress walked out of the hall. Seeing this woman, Lin Feng's face was filled with disbelief. How could it be her? Chapter 682. Look, General Manager Liu is coming out. To be able to serve as the general manager of eldest senior brother's Green Sky Peak and gain his trust, his status is naturally extraordinary. If I can enter eldest senior brother's Green Sky Peak as a guard, I will be able to make a meteoric rise. Eldest senior brother is a super genius that only appears once in 10,000 years. Sooner or later, he will become a god-level powerhouse. Many people were talking about it, although the Blue Cloud sect had declined. However, the Blue Cloud sect had nurtured a peerless figure like Huangfu Qingtian. It could be said that he was shockingly talented. Lin Feng stared at the woman who walked out. He was slightly absent-minded, because no matter what, Lin Feng did not expect it to be this woman. Lu Mingyan, Zhenwu country, the master of the imperial capital. Wasn't this person one of the 8th Prince Long Haori's people? Lin Feng clearly remembered that he and Shangguan Feier went to eat. Then, the son of Lord Taishian, Long Yuxiao, was bold enough to tease Shangguan Feier. He was taught a lesson by Lin Feng. Later, this Lu Mingyan appeared. She even summoned the 12 eagle guards that the 8th prince had sent to protect her to deal with Lin Feng. However, the 12 eagle guards were defeated by Lin Feng, and her guards were all destroyed by Lin Feng. In Lin Feng's opinion, Lu Mingyan was just a clown. This woman, although she was good-looking, she could be called a beauty. But so what? In this world, there was no lack of beauties. And now, Lu Mingyan had become the general manager of the Green Sky Peak? How could a person like Lu Mingyan climb up to Huangfu Qingtian? Lin Feng could not understand this point. General Manager Liu, take care. The elders in the inner disciple hall all smiled and cupped their fists. They were very polite, because they knew that Lu Mingyan was valued by Huangfu Qingtian, and Huangfu Qingtian would definitely become a peerless powerhouse in the future, or even a god. That was why these elders were fawning over him. Lu Mingyin nodded slightly. Although she was still a martial king, in front of these sect elders, she actually had a high and mighty attitude. As for those elders, they no longer felt that they were being humiliated. This was the status of the Green Sky Peak's general manager. No matter who it was, they had to look up to him. Lu Mingyin walked outside. In the distance, a crane cry could be heard. A huge, immortal crane, hovering in the sky peak. This was the golden-feathered crane. This type of crane was not only fast in flight. Furthermore, it was extremely intelligent. Fierce. His eyes coldly swept downwards. Many disciples felt a chill down their spines when they met the eyes of the golden-feathered, immortal crane. Sister Lu, please get on the crane. Lu Mingyin nodded and waved her hand. The extremely fierce golden-feathered, immortal crane flew down and landed on the ground. Lu Mingyin was about to leave on her crane. Suddenly, her gaze froze. She looked at the crowd. Twos. Lu Mingyin's voice became ethereal. I really didn't expect to see you here. Lin Feng glanced at Lu Mingyin indifferently. Lu Mingyin obviously didn't expect it either. She smiled and said, Let's find a place to talk. Lin Feng nodded. Together with Lu Mingyin, they found a quiet place. You're wanted everywhere in the eastern region, but you came to the desolate region. It's really unexpected. Lu Mingyin smiled at Lin Feng. She was flirtatious, but Lin Feng was unmoved. He asked curiously, Aren't you the 8th prince, Long Haori's man? Why are you in the Blue Cloud sect now? And you even became the general manager of the Green Sky Peak? Don't you know that the 8th prince, Long Haori, was killed for plotting a rebellion? Lu Mingyin asked. Lin Feng shook his head. He wasn't interested in knowing about the 8th prince's matters. Lu Mingyin said, Although you and I had some unhappiness in the past, it wasn't a big grudge. To be able to meet again in the Blue Cloud sect is fate. Lin Feng, I'll give you a chance to soar. It depends on whether you can grasp it or not. Lu Mingyin said indifferently. Her high and mighty attitude made Lin Feng quite unhappy. However, when he thought about how Lu Mingyin had a high and mighty attitude towards those Yin-Yang realm elders, Lin Feng suddenly thought of a sentence. A sparrow becomes a phoenix. Lu Mingyin used to stay in the secular world, although she followed the 8th prince, but in front of a truly powerful force, not to mention the 8th prince. So what if it was the Jinwu country? Now that she had joined a large sect like the Blue Cloud sect, she had become an important person of Huangfu Qingtian. Lu Mingyin seemed to have turned from a pauper to a billionaire in an instant. Therefore, it wasn't strange that she always had a high and mighty attitude. Lin Feng asked, What's the matter? Senior brother is currently forming an Azure Skyguard with a total of 36 people. I think you have potential. How about I recommend you to join the Azure Skyguard? Lu Mingyin said, Azure Skyguard? What's that? Lin Feng frowned. It's equivalent to a death-sworn loyal to senior brother. Lu Mingyin said. Lin Feng said indifferently, Death-sworn? Isn't that just a servant? Sorry, not interested. This wasn't a good job at all. Lin Feng had seen many death-sworn. They were even worse than servants. For a master's order, they wouldn't hesitate to give up their lives. This was a death-sworn. Lin Feng wouldn't become anyone's death-sworn. Hearing Lin Feng reject her, Lu Mingyin's expression turned ugly. She continued, There are many who would love to have this opportunity, yet junior brother Lin actually rejected it. Lin Feng smiled and said, That's why I asked senior sister Lu to leave such a good position to someone else. I still have things to do here, so I'll take my leave first. Lin Feng cupped his fists and walked towards the inner disciples' hall. You refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Lu Mingyin coldly glanced at Lin Feng. An inner sect elite disciple called Sun Zizhou walked out from the shadows. Obviously, he had heard the conversation between Lin Feng and Lu Mingyin. Sun Zizhou coldly glanced at Lin Feng's back and said, He actually dares to refuse to become senior brother's death-sworn. This brat, is he being shameless? Lu Mingyin sneered and said, There will always be some people who don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Then, she rode on the golden-feathered crane and soared into the sky. In the blink of an eye, she disappeared without a trace. Now, Lin Feng's mind could wander the heavens. Therefore, when he left, He also left behind a strand of divine sense. He heard the conversation between Lu Mingyan and Sun Zizhou. Lin Feng knew that it was because he refused to become Huangfu Qingtian's deathsworn. Lu Mingyan and Sun Zizhou had already developed hostility towards him. What a joke! The clear sky peak must have many powerful disciples to rely on. Why didn't they choose one of them? Instead, they were recruiting outside? Obviously, everyone knows that becoming a deathsworn is equivalent to becoming someone else's dog. If their master wants them to commit suicide, they can't refuse. They will completely lose their freedom and self. As a disciple of a large sect, their future is bright. Who would be willing to become a deathsworn? This Lu Mingyan and Sun Zizhou actually hate me because I refuse to become Huangfu Qingtian's deathsworn. They really think too highly of themselves. It's best if they don't provoke me, otherwise, I'll make sure they die without a burial ground. Lin Feng couldn't help but sneer in his heart. He walked towards the inner disciples' hall. 2 hours later, Lin Feng walked out of the inner disciples' hall. A month later, Lin Feng left the Blue Cloud sect and headed for the East Sea. Ruins of God, World Tree. Lin Feng took a deep breath, his eyes revealing a hopeful look. If he could really obtain the fragment of the World Tree, then, future achievements. Perhaps he could really reach the ancient gods, or even surpass them. Chapter 683. The East region bordered the East Sea. The Aolai Immortal Country was a famous ancient capital of the East region. There had always been rumors of immortals in the Aolai Immortal Country. Of course, the most famous one was the Huagua Mountain in the Aolai Country. At the border between the Aolai Country and the East Sea, white fog lingered. There was an immortal mountain called the Huagua Mountain. It was rumored that there was a strange stone at the peak of the East Sea. It had been formed since the beginning of the world and absorbed the essence of the sun and moon, as well as the power of the tides of the world. The strange stone produced a divine will. It had been nurtured for countless years. A stone monkey jumped out. This stone monkey was even more famous in the past. It was known as the sacred battle ape. It fought against the heavens and the earth. Who could compete against it? Countless years had passed, but the legend of the Huagua Mountain in the Aolai country was still famous. On the shore of the East Sea, countless people looked into the depths. It was said that the Huagua Mountain was located in the depths of the White Fog. Is there really a Huagua Mountain? A cultivator asked. An old cultivator stroked his beard and said, "Of course there is. It's a story passed down from generation to generation, so it can't be false. Whether or not there is a Huagua Mountain, let's go and check it out," a cultivator said, wanting to fly to the world shrouded in white fog. The old cultivator said indifferently, "The Huagua Mountain is in the depths of the white fog. Although it's not a land of death, it's said that it's even more terrifying." When he heard the old cultivator's words, the expression of the cultivator who wanted to go and check it out suddenly changed. What happened at the Godluo Cliff had already shaken the 3,000 provinces. It let the world know how terrifying a land of death was. In one night, within 100 miles, not a single blade of grass grew. Countless cultivators turned into ashes. Countless living beings turned into dust. If it was even more terrifying than a land of death, then the terror of the Huagua Mountain was unimaginable. Has no one come out of the Huagua Mountain? Lin Feng asked. For countless years, no one has come out because it's said that they were cursed. The old cultivator said, "Curse? What curse?" Someone asked curiously. It's said that back in the days, the Saint Battle Ape wreaked havoc in the celestial world. He almost destroyed the celestial world. Therefore, the 7 Buddhas of the celestial world joined hands and killed the Saint Battle Ape. They also cursed the Mountain of Flowers and Fruit. The descendants of the Mountain of Flowers and Fruit can't leave, and outsiders can't enter the Mountain of Flowers and Fruit. The old cultivator said. Lin Feng stroked his chin. He did not know how trustworthy the old cultivator's words were. If it was true, the battle between the sacred battle ape and the 7 ancient Buddhas and the big shots of the undying realm must have shocked the world. "Little Feng, is that you?" At this moment, a surprised voice was heard. Lin Feng looked over and saw a handsome young man looking at him. Sikong. Seeing this young man, Lin Feng's face immediately lit up. It was actually Sikong Jiayue. Back then, the two of them had met in the ancient battlefield of gods and demons. At that time, they were only 16 or 17 years old. In the blink of an eye, 5 years had passed. Good brother, I didn't think you'd come to the eastern region. Sikong Jiayue walked over and gave Lin Feng a big hug. Lin Feng also gave Sikong Jiayue a big hug. Old friends met again. Of course, it was something to be happy about. Let's go back to Glorybound City, Sikong Jiayue said. Lin Feng nodded and followed Sikong Jiayue to Glorybound City. Glorybound City was not far away. It was about 20 miles away from the sea. Standing on the city wall, one could see the magnificent sea. Outside the Taishan building, there was a poem written by the Sword Celestial, Li Taishan. Don't you see the water of the yellow river flowing from the sky to the sea? Don't you see the sad white hair in the mirror? Like black hair in the morning, like snow in the evening. One must enjoy life to the fullest. Don't let the golden goblet face the moon empty. I am born to be useful. Money will come back after it is spent. Cooking sheep and slaughtering cows for pleasure. Drinking 300 cups at once. Master Chen, Dan Xiusheng. When the wine is served, don't stop. I will sing a song with you. Please listen to me. Bells and drums are not expensive. I hope you will be drunk and not wake up. Since ancient times, sages have been lonely. Only those who drink leave their names behind. Kings of Chun used to feast and drink 10,000 cups of wine. Why do you say you have less money? You must drink it right. Multicolored horses, 1,000 gold fur coat, will be exchanged for fine wine. Together with you, the sorrow of eternity. Li Taishan loved wine as much as his life. In the past, he had lived in the Taishan building for more than 10 years. Now, the Taishan building had become a popular restaurant. Lin Feng and Sikong Jiayue were there. They ordered some food and wine and chatted while eating. Lin Feng, where have you been? A few years ago, I went to the Eastern Prefecture to look for you, but I found that you were wanted everywhere in the Eastern Prefecture. Sikong Jiayue said, Is Aotian ancient capital looking for me? Lin Feng's eyes flashed coldly. Sikong Jiayue nodded. Yes, it's Aotian ancient capital. Many things have happened in the past few years. I left the Eastern Prefecture and joined the Blue Cloud sect. Lin Feng said. The Blue Cloud sect? The Blue Cloud sect in Huangyu? Sikong Jiayue asked. Lin Feng nodded. The Blue Cloud sect. What about now? Why did you come to the Eastern Prefecture? Sikong Jiayue asked curiously. The ruins of gods are about to open. I plan to go there. Lin Feng said. I've heard about it. I'm also preparing to go to the ruins of gods. Do you want to come with me? Sikong Jiayue smiled. Haha, we brothers can work together again. Cheers. Lin Feng raised his glass. Sikong Jiayue raised his glass and drank it. At night, Lin Feng followed Sikong Jiayue to the Sikong clan. The Sikong clan was located in the northwest part of Glorybound City. There was a huge mansion there that covered an area of more than 1,000 acres. Lin Feng was shocked. There was actually such a huge mansion in Glorybound City. The Sikong clan wasn't simple. However, when Lin Feng entered the mansion, he felt that it was cold and cheerless. It was a huge mansion. It was so quiet that he couldn't see anyone. Sikong, where are your clansmen? Lin Feng asked curiously. Sikong Jiayue smiled bitterly. The Sikong clan only has me, my sister, 2 old servants, and a maid. Lin Feng nodded. When he saw Sikong Jiayue's lonely expression, he didn't ask any more questions. When they entered the mansion, a maid around 14 or 15 years old saw Sikong Jiayue and Lin Feng. She bowed to Sikong Jiayue. Young master, you're back? Sikong Jiayue nodded and pointed to the maid. This is my sister's personal maid. Her name is Ruier. This is Lin Gongzi. Ruier greets Lin Gongzi, said the little girl shyly while bowing in front of Lin Feng. Lin Feng nodded slightly. Ruier, go and prepare another room. Sikong Jiayue said. Yes, young master. I'll go now. Ruier nodded and left. Sikong Jiayue brought Lin Feng to a guest room. Because there were no servants in the house, Sikong Jiayue had to pour tea himself. Not long after, a 16 or 17-year-old girl came over. This young girl was tall and slender, and her face was exquisite and beautiful. She was Sikong Jiayue's younger sister, Sikong Xian Yin. Xian Yin, you came at the right time. This is the Lin Feng that I often tell you about. This is my sister, Xian Yin. Sikong Jiayue smiled. Sikong Xian Yin bowed to Lin Feng and said, Xian Yin greets big brother Lin. Sikong Xian Yin's voice was gentle and beautiful. She seemed delicate and lovely. Chapter 684. After not seeing each other for so many years, Lin Feng and Sikong Jiayue naturally had a lot to talk about. After Sikong Xinyan left, the two of them sat on the roof and drank while talking about their experiences over the years. Late at night, they were completely drunk. Lin Feng carried Sikong Jiayue back to his room. Lin Feng often drank with the old drunkard, so his alcohol tolerance had long been trained. But obviously, Sikong Jiayue's alcohol tolerance was much worse. Sikong Jiayue was sleeping soundly on the bed. Lin Feng sat cross-legged and circulated the archaic dragonesque elephant art. 36 cycles later, he was no longer drunk. Then, Lin Feng began to observe the movement of the 90,000 stars. On the morning of the first day, Lin Feng woke up. Big brother Lin, is my brother here? I've made some soup. After drinking it, your body will feel much better. Sikong Xinyan said gently. Your brother hasn't woken up yet. Let him sleep for a while. Lin Feng said. Then please come with me, big brother Lin. Sikong Xinyan said with a red face. Lin Feng nodded and followed Sikong Xinyan to the dining room. Sikong Xinyan poured a bowl of soup for Lin Feng. After Lin Feng drank it, he felt warm all over. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Sikong Xinyan was not only beautiful, but she was also gentle and pleasant. The new girl's cooking skills are too good. I haven't had such a delicious soup in many years. Lin Feng put down the bowl and chopsticks and said with a smile. Sikong Xinyan blushed slightly after being praised by Lin Feng and said, As long as you like it. Sikong Xinyan didn't stay for long. She was a girl, so she didn't want to spend too much time with Lin Feng. Lin Feng went outside. The warm sunlight shone down. He walked around the huge courtyard. The Sikong clan's land was too big. This mansion was most likely priceless. In front of a small courtyard, Lin Feng saw an old servant sitting in front of the stone steps, basking in the sun. Lin Feng walked over and greeted the old servant. The old servant smiled and said, It's rare to see someone as young and polite as you. Lin Feng smiled and said, Respecting the elderly is a traditional virtue. The old servant smiled and said, Even though that's the case, who still remembers these virtues? This young master must be the Lin Gongzi that Ruier mentioned, right? Lin Feng nodded and said, That's me. It's been many years since I've seen the young master bring a friend home. In fact, it's been many years since I've seen the young master make friends. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat, and he said, Elder, the Sikong clan's mansion is so huge, so it should have a lot of people. Why are there only so few people left? The old servant sighed and said, In the early years, the Sikong clan was one of the 10 great clans in Glory-bound City. However, 10 years ago, the Sikong clan suffered a calamity. A calamity? Lin Feng frowned. The old servant nodded and said, The Sikong clan suffered some sort of curse, causing its clansmen to perish one by one. Even an almighty ancestor wasn't able to avoid this calamity. All the followers and guards of the Sikong clan fled successively. The servants also began to flee. Originally, fleeing servants were a crime punishable by death, but back then, the master was merciful and ordered all the servants to be released. In the end, only young Master Yu and Miss Xian Yin survived. As for the servants, they all ran away. Just like that, the huge Sikong clan declined. Lin Feng could more or less guess what happened next. Only 2 loyal old servants and Ruier, who had no one to rely on, were left behind. Under the care of the 2 old servants, Sikong Jiayue and Sikong Xian Yin grew up. Why did this happen? Why did such a powerful clan die one after another? Lin Feng frowned. He felt that this matter was too unusual. Such a huge clan had an almighty expert overseeing it. However, because of a curse, their clansmen had died tragically. Was it really a curse? Or was there some other reason? This was the enmity of a clan extermination. No wonder Sikong Jiayue cultivated so desperately. He had to bear the burden of such a tragedy. Sikong Jiayue naturally had to cultivate desperately. At noon, Sikong Jiayue finally woke up. He had slept for a long time. He had never slept so peacefully before. Lin Feng went deeper into the mansion, and Sikong Jiayue was finally able to sleep peacefully. This was because Sikong Jiayue knew, no matter what happened, Lin Feng would be the first to notice. In the afternoon, a group of more than 20 people came to the Sikong estate. The leader was a 26 or 27-year-old young master. This person was called Tuoba Yun. He had an arrogant look on his face. Lin Feng discovered that this person's cultivation was not simple. He was actually a yin-yang realm cultivator. Seeing these people arrive, Sikong Xian Yin hid behind Sikong Jiayue in fear. Tuoba Yun, why did you come to the Sikong estate again? Didn't I already say that? The Sikong estate is not for sale, Sikong Jiayue said in a low voice. Sikong Jiayue, the Sikong estate is already dead. What's the point of guarding this estate? Do you think the Sikong estate was one of the 10 great clans of Glorybound City? Stop daydreaming. Your Sikong clan has long declined. Now, my Tuoba clan has taken over your Sikong clan's position, and this mansion is in line with my Tuoba clan's current status. Sell it to us honestly, and you and your sister will be safe and sound. I think you don't want to see your sister being raped by a group of men in a brothel one day, right? Tuoba Yun's lustful eyes looked towards Sikong Xinyan. Haha, this little girl is Shui Linger. Just looking at her makes me want to fuck her. The other members of the Tuoba estate laughed lustfully. Sikong Xian Yin was so scared that she started trembling. Bastard, you're courting death, shouted Sikong Jiayue furiously. He punched at Tuoba Yun. Tuoba Yun's cultivation level was obviously much higher than Sikong Jiayue's. He smiled coldly and appeared in front of Sikong Jiayue. He threw a punch at him. Sikong Jiayue's face turned pale. He realized that he couldn't dodge this attack. After the Sikong estate declined, only this estate was left. The rest of the items had long been plundered clean by the various major forces. They didn't even have any cultivation resources left. Sikong Jiayue was able to reach the 10th layer of the Martial King layer at the age of 21. It was extremely difficult. But so what if he was at the 10th layer of the Martial King layer? Compared to Tuoba Yun, who was at the yin-yang realm, he was much weaker. You're just a piece of trash. You dare attack me? Said Tuoba Yun disdainfully. Brother. Sikong Xian Yan's face turned pale. Crack. Tuoba Yun's attack was about to hit Sikong Jiayue. Suddenly, Tuoba Yun's wrist was grabbed. Chapter 685. Brat, who are you? Tuoba Yun looked coldly at Lin Feng. Lin Feng, let him go. Sikong Jiayue grabbed Lin Feng's hand and said. They really couldn't afford to offend the Tuoba family. Sikong Jiayue didn't want to implicate Lin Feng because of his own matters. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows slightly. He knew what Sikong Jiayue was worried about. He nodded and let go of Tuoba Yun's hand. The Sikong family doesn't welcome you. F***CK. Where did this brat come from? How dare he interfere with the Tuoba family's matters? Does he not want to live anymore? A cultivator from the Tuoba family cursed arrogantly. Whoosh! In the next moment, he only saw a figure flash in front of him. Lin Feng came to his side. Then, he slapped him. Slap. The heavy slap landed on the cultivator's face. The cultivator from the Tuoba family was sent flying dozens of meters away. Bang! The cultivator from the Tuoba family fell to the ground. His face had been smashed by Lin Feng. He immediately fainted. You're courting death. The rest of the people were furious. Tuoba Yun's expression was extremely gloomy. He said coldly, Brat, you dare to attack? How dare you disrespect me? You're courting death. Lin Feng sneered. Let's attack together and kill this brat. How dare he hurt someone from the Tuoba family? He's courting death. This brat must die. The cultivators from the Tuoba family were extremely arrogant. They sneered and wanted to attack. However, they were stopped by Tuoba Yun. This was because Tuoba Yun wasn't sure about Lin Feng's background. He looked coldly at Lin Feng and said, "Brat, this matter won't end so easily." Then, Tuoba Yun led the cultivators from the Tuoba family away. Lin Feng didn't take Tuoba Yun's threat seriously. If not for Sikong Jiayue and Sikong Xinyan, the cultivators from the Tuoba family were already dead. After killing them, he would just leave this place. However, Sikong Jiayue, Sikong Xinyan, the two old servants, and Rue still had to live here. Lin Feng suppressed the killing intent in his heart. "Lin Feng, I've implicated you." Sikong Jiayue sighed and said, "Hurry up and leave Aolai City. I'm worried that the Tuoba family will hate you." Lin Feng said, "You and I went through life and death together on the ancient battlefield of gods and devils. We've gone through thick and thin together. How can I leave at a time like this?" Sikong Jiayue was both touched and worried about Lin Feng's safety. However, he understood Lin Feng's character. If Lin Feng didn't want to leave, he would leave. No matter how he persuaded, Lin Feng would not leave. "I hope the Tuoba clan won't go too far," Sikong Jiayue said gloomily. "Thank you, Brother Lin." At that moment, Sikong Xinyan's face regained some color. Lin Feng said, "Don't worry. With me here, I won't let those people bully you." Sikong Xinyan nodded her head heavily, tears falling from her big eyes. Lin Feng rubbed her head. However, his eyes gradually turned cold. He and Sikong Jiayue had gone through life and death together. They were like brothers. Sikong Jiayue's younger sister. She was Lin Feng's younger sister. Tuoba Yun actually dared to use Sikong Xinyan to threaten Sikong Jiayue. Lin Feng wanted to kill Tuoba Yun. However, this place wasn't suitable for fighting. Therefore, Lin Feng didn't make a move. At night, in the Sikong clan's ancestral hall, Sikong Jiayue knelt in front of the ancestors and muttered to himself, "I, Sikong Jiayue, am unfilial." Now, the Sikong clan's ancestral hall that has been passed down for tens of thousands of years is about to be destroyed. If we really can't protect this ancestral hall, I, Sikong Jiayue, hope the ancestors can forgive me. The Sikong clan only has me and my younger sister, Sikong Xinyan. My life is worthless, so even if I die, I hope that my younger sister can live well." Lin Feng, who was leaning against a pillar, looked at Sikong Jiayue's trembling body and couldn't help but shake his head and sigh. Sikong Jiayue hadn't had it easy these past few years. Perhaps this ancestral hall was his last hope? But now, in order to protect his younger sister, he seemed to have wavered. Tuoba Yun used Sikong Xinyan to threaten Sikong Jiayue, which made Sikong Jiayue very afraid. If Sikong Xinyan was really sold to a brothel, Sikong Jiayue didn't dare to think about it. He could die, but nothing could happen to Sikong Xinyan. Late at night, the Tuoba clan's group left Wanhua building. The nightlife of these aristocratic clan's disciples was naturally very exciting. As for Wanhua building, it was where the most beautiful women gathered. It was the favorite place of these aristocratic clan's disciples. More than 10 people walked on the street. There was only one street left from Tuoba clan's residence. It was quiet here, completely different from the bustling scene on the other streets. The few streets outside these large clans would often have a curfew to prevent them from being disturbed. Tuoba Yun and the others walked towards Tuoba clan's residence while talking about the women in Wanhua building, occasionally letting out lewd laughter. Suddenly, someone said, "If you ask me, although the women in Wanhua building are pretty, they have a bit of a prostitute." Sikong Jiayue's younger sister, Sikong Xinyan, is the real deal. Although she's young, she's tall and has a pretty face. Most importantly, she's so tender that it's like water. Haha, that's right. That Sikong Xinyan is indeed a stunner. Just thinking about that girl makes my body burn with desire. Another Sikong clan's cultivator said. The group of people laughed lewdly as they discussed Sikong Xinyan. Tuoba Yun said, "Isn't it easy to get Sikong Xinyan? Can that trash Sikong Jiayue stop us? In a few days, we'll bring Tuoba Lai with us. If Sikong Jiayue cooperates with us, then we'll forget about it. If he doesn't, then we'll capture that girl and have some fun tonight." Haha, I can't wait. Me too. I really want to do that girl now. The group of Tuoba clan's cultivators laughed lewdly. Their lewd laughter echoed in the empty street. Someone said, What if that brat Sikong Jeue cooperates? Then we won't be able to play with Sikong Sinyan. Hee, Sikong Jeue is occupying Sikong Mansion. Many people are paying attention to him. We still have to be careful when dealing with him, but if he doesn't even have a mansion, who will pay attention to him? At that time, it'll be easier to act. Tuoba Yun sneered. Young Master Yun, what do you mean? Kill Sikong Jeue? Take the money he got from selling his mansion? Then, capture Sikong Sinyan? Let's have some fun. A Tuoba clan's cultivator said. Tuoba Yun smiled and said, that's what I meant. You're worth teaching. Young Master Yun is wise. The group of people immediately started flattering Tuoba Yun. Suddenly, someone said, hey, look, there's someone walking over. Who's that guy? He dares to wander around our Tuoba clan streets in the middle of the night? Is he tired of living? Immediately, a member of the Tuoba family laughed coldly. He looked at the figure walking over from the street in the distance with a cold gaze. Chapter 686. The blurry figure approached from afar. Finally, Tuoba Yun and the others saw his face clearly. It's you. Tuoba Yun narrowed his eyes, which flashed with a cold light. He recognized Lin Feng. The other members of the Tuoba family also recognized him. Wasn't this the kid from the Sikong family? Why was he here? But then, these people sneered. This kid had run to the Tuoba family's base recklessly. Was he here to die? Tuoba Yun waved his hand, and the cultivators of the Tuoba family quickly spread out and surrounded Lin Feng. How dare you come to the Tuoba family? You really don't know what's good for you. Tuoba Yun's eyes were cold, and they flashed with killing intent. Lin Feng looked up. He didn't say anything, but walked toward Tuoba Yun. Kill this kid. Tuoba Yun ordered coldly. The cultivators of the Tuoba family knew that Lin Feng's cultivation was not simple. So, they chose to attack from afar. One by one, they took out their powerful Dharma treasures. Buzz. Intense vibrations swept through the sky and surged out. Incredible treasures flew towards Lin Feng one after another. Flying swords, jade ruler, cold battle axe, and so on. Every single weapon was extremely powerful as they blasted toward Yifut Yin. These people all had cold and sinister expressions on their faces. In their eyes, Lin Feng was strong. But so what? No matter how strong he was, even if he was besieged by this group of people, he would still die. Moreover, they had a yin-yang realm cultivator on their side. The powerful Dharma treasures were about to hit Lin Feng. At this moment, Lin Feng slashed out with Sky Splitter. Buzz. Intense vibrations surged out, sweeping through the sky and the earth. A destructive power suddenly erupted. 100-foot-long blade light swept out. Clang, clang. Under the attack of the 100-foot-long blade light, the Dharma treasures were instantly torn apart and destroyed. Then, the terrifying blade light swept toward the cultivators of the Tuoba family. Puff! A tearing sound was heard. The cultivators of the Tuoba family died on the spot. The rest of the people's faces abruptly changed. No one had expected Lin Feng to be so powerful. Tuoba Yun said in a low voice, "This brat is incredibly savage. Send out a signal to the Tuoba family's patrolling guards. When the experts arrive, they'll capture this brat alive and make sure he dies without a corpse." Yes. Immediately, a cultivator from the Tuoba family sent out a signal. A firework soared into the sky. However, the flame was extinguished in an instant. A great formation? Tuoba Yun's expression was extremely gloomy. Lin Feng smiled and said, "That's right, it's a great array. I forgot to tell everyone that I'm an Earth Rank Array Master." What? An Earth Rank Array Master? Tuoba Yun and the others were almost scared to death by Lin Feng's words. An Earth Rank Spirit Array Master would at least have a soul at the Creation Realm. Could it be that this fellow in front of him possessed a soul at the Creation Realm? This was simply unbelievable. However, there seemed to be a voice in everyone's heart telling them that everything Lin Feng said was true. Tuoba Yun and the others also knew what an Earth Rank Spirit Array Master meant. Even a yin-yang realm cultivator would be exhausted in front of an array set up by an Earth Rank Spirit Array Master. Tuoba Yun sensed for a moment and then heaved a sigh of relief. Although there was a great formation here, Tuoba Yun discovered that the great formation here was just a simple illusion array. There was no killing array. If it was just an illusion array, it was hard to say who would emerge victorious. Tuoba Yun said coldly, "Brat, are you making an enemy out of us for the Sikong family? What benefits did the Sikong family give you? The Tuoba family will give you double. How about that?" Benefits? Lin Feng's expression was ice cold. "Sikong Jiayue is my brother, and Sikong Xinyan is my sister. You bastards actually dared to bully my brother and sister. Only death awaits you. Go, let's kill him together." Tuoba Yun saw that Lin Feng was stubborn and immediately shouted coldly. Boom, boom, boom. A group of experts attacked one after another. All kinds of magic treasures attacked Lin Feng. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. Dealing with these people was as easy as blowing off dust. A sky-splitting slash was unleashed. Instantly, the experts of the Tuoba family were killed one after another. Tuoba Yun was also forced to retreat. Tuoba Yun was a yin-yang realm cultivator. However, he was only at the first firmament of the yin-yang realm. He was no match for Lin Feng. "Martial Soul, activate," Tuoba Yun shouted coldly. Then, a cold light shot out from his dantian. Purple lightning intertwined. A sword of lightning condensed within the lightning. It was the sword of lightning. It quickly slashed towards Lin Feng. "Brat, my sword of lightning has the most violent attack. Let's see how you block it." Tuoba Yun was obviously very confident in his martial soul and sneered. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. "It's just a trash martial soul." As soon as he finished speaking, the 5 devouring martial souls revolved. 5 distorted black holes appeared, and the sword of lightning was instantly devoured. "No, how is this possible?" Tuoba Yun roared in disbelief. Whoosh! Lin Feng rushed towards Tuoba Yun. Tuoba Yun was shocked. He quickly retreated. However, Tuoba Yun suddenly realized that his body seemed to be restrained by some terrifying power. He couldn't move. In the next moment, Tuoba Yun felt a sharp pain in his dantian. He screamed as his body flew backwards. He fell to the ground with a thump. His body twitched violently. Tuoba Yun vomited blood. His face was pale. He was shocked to find that his dantian, it had been destroyed. "Ah, you crippled me. You actually crippled my dantian. Brat, you will die a horrible death. The Tuoba family will not let you off." Tuoba Yun's face was ashen. In his eyes, there was endless hatred. Lin Feng sneered. "The Tuoba family is just an ancient family. If I break through to the yin-yang realm, I will be able to uproot the Tuoba family." Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He raised his right hand and slashed out with sword chi. Puff! A piece of Tuoba Yun's flesh was instantly torn off. Tuoba Yun screamed again and again. Puff! 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 Dense sword chi slashed out. Tuoba Yun's flesh was torn off piece by piece. "Kill me!" Tuoba Yun's body twitched in pain as he begged loudly. "Kill you? Wouldn't that be letting you off too easily?" Lin Feng's gaze was extremely cold. When facing an enemy, Lin Feng would never show mercy. His methods ruthless and merciless. The dense sword chi slashed towards Tuoba Yun. Shrill screams could be heard. The Tuoba family's residence was just one street away. However, this place was sealed by an illusion array. Tuoba Yun was destined to be unable to ask for help from his family. Tuoba Yun looked at Lin Feng in fear. He was filled with regret. Why did he provoke such a demon? While he was filled with endless fear and regret, Tuoba Yun was executed by Lin Feng. Chapter 687. Glory-bound City. The Tuoba family's higher-ups roared furiously. Who? Who is it? Who dares to kill so many of my Tuoba family's experts? Investigate. No matter who it is, we must make them pay with their blood. The Tuoba family's higher-ups were about to go crazy. Just across the street from the Tuoba family, a yin-yang realm cultivator. More than 10 peak Martial King cultivators. They were all killed just like that. Tuoba Yun, who was at the yin-yang realm, was executed by 1,000 cuts. Was this a provocation to the Tuoba family? News of Tuoba Yun's death quickly spread throughout Glorybound City. This matter caused a huge uproar. However, this matter also made many people clap their hands in joy. Tuoba Yun was arrogant. Many people in Glorybound City had been bullied by him. However, Tuoba Yun was at the Yin-Yang realm. He also had the backing of the Tuoba family. Who dared to offend Tuoba Yun? Everyone could only swallow their anger. Now, Tuoba Yun had been executed by 1,000 cuts. This was simply too satisfying. Everyone was talking about this matter. Just across the street from the Tuoba family, someone had actually killed so many of their experts. Furthermore, the Tuoba family had not been alarmed. How terrifying was the person who had done this? Young master, young miss, something big has happened outside. Rue returned from grocery shopping in the morning with a happy expression. Sikong Sinyan asked, "What happened?" That despicable Tuoba Yun and more than 10 experts of the Tuoba family were killed last night. I heard that Tuoba Yun was executed by 1,000 cuts. Many people are talking about this. Rueer said, "There's such a thing?" Sikong Sinyan cried out in surprise. She covered her mouth with her small hand to hide her shock. Sikong Jiayue was also shocked. Who had killed Tuoba Yun? Sikong Jiayue suddenly looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng smiled and said, "Sikong, come with me." Sikong Jiayue nodded. "Brother Lin, what do you want to talk about?" Sikong Sinyan was confused. When they arrived at Lin Feng's room, Sikong Jiayue impatiently asked, "Lin Feng, did you do it?" Lin Feng nodded. Sikong Jiayue's face was filled with shock and emotion. He did not expect that Lin Feng's strength was already so powerful. Lin Feng took out a golden flame fruit. This was what he had obtained from the magnetic fog lake. At that time, Lin Feng obtained a total of 3 golden flame fruits. The golden flame fruit was a heavenly treasure. It could help a cultivator break through to the Yin-Yang realm. This was a treasure that countless people would go crazy for. Good stuff. He wanted to share it with his family and friends. "Sikong, I can see that your celestial cord is shining. It seems like you're about to break through to the Yin and Yang layer, but breaking through to the Yin and Yang layer isn't easy. Take this golden fire fruit. It'll help you break through to the Yin and Yang layer." Lin Feng said, "Is this the legendary golden fire fruit?" Sikong Jiayue's face was filled with shock. Golden flame fruit. Naturally, he had heard of it, but he had never seen her before. Now, there was a golden flame fruit in front of him. The shock in his heart was naturally indescribable. "You'll need a golden flame fruit when you break through. I can't take this golden flame fruit." Sikong Jiayue shook his head. Lin Feng smiled and said, "I have 2 more here. You have a lot of good stuff." Sikong Jiayue was stunned. Then, he punched Lin Feng's chest. But then, Sikong Jiayue looked at Lin Feng sincerely and gratefully and said, "Brother, I can't say thank you because it's too pretentious." Lin Feng knew that Sikong Jiayue was under a lot of pressure. The tragic death of his clansman, blood feud, his sister's safety, the persecution of the Tuoba family. Everything was weighing down on his shoulders. He was really eager to break through to the Yin and Yang layer. Lin Feng said, "You and I are brothers, there's no need to say anything. Go and refine the golden flame fruit." "Okay." Sikong Jiayue nodded heavily. Then, he returned to his room to refine the golden flame fruit. One day later, waves of shocking waves spread out from Sikong Jiayue's room. "Ha ha ha, I finally broke through. I finally broke through to the Yin and Yang layer." Sikong Jiayue said excitedly, "Brother, you broke through. That's great." Sikong Sinyan clapped her hands excitedly. Lin Feng smiled. "Sikong has also broken through to the Yin-Yang realm. I should wait a bit longer and hope that I can find a fragment of the world tree. I'll activate it and plant it in my Dantian. With the help of the world tree, I'll be able to increase my battle power by 12 times." Lin Feng rubbed his chin and thought. At night, Sikong Sinyan prepared a sumptuous dinner to celebrate Sikong Jiayue's breakthrough. At that moment, someone delivered a letter. It said that the young geniuses of Glorybound City would be gathering in 3 days at Wanhua Building. This kind of gathering is held every year, but I haven't been there for many years. Sikong Jiayue said. Lin Feng smiled and said, "This kind of gathering is quite interesting. We can go together this year." Sikong Jiayue nodded. Time flew by quickly. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Lin Feng, Sikong Jiayue, and Sikong Xinyan went to Wanhua Building together. The entire street had been sealed off. Many people had surrounded the place so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Everyone looked enviously at the beast-drawn carriages passing by on the street, and they were discussing who was sitting inside the carriages. Those who could attend the gathering of the young geniuses of Glorybound City were all disciples of influential families. Lin Feng and the other two's carriage stopped in front of Wanhua Building. The three of them got off the carriage and walked towards Wanhua Building. Wanhua Building was bustling with people. They were all disciples of powerful families. Even if they weren't from the main family, they were still geniuses from the side branches. Tuoba Lai is here. Someone shouted from outside. Tuoba Lai was 28 years old, but he had already broken through to the third sky of the yin-yang layer. His talent was astonishing. He could become an almighty cultivator in the future. His arrival naturally attracted a lot of attention. Many cultivators went up to greet Tuoba Lai. Tuoba Lai entered Wanhua Building, surrounded by a myriad of people. Geniuses of the younger generation arrived one after another. Every yin-yang realm genius could cause cheers and exclamations. Yin Ruyu is here. There was a huge commotion outside. Many people rushed outside. Yin Ruyu? Who is she? How did she cause such a huge commotion? Lin Feng was astonished. Yin Ruyu is one of the 10 great beauties of the eastern region. She's the princess of Glorybound Country. Sikong Jiayue said. Glorybound City was the capital of Glorybound Country. Now that Yin Ruyu had come to the gathering of the young geniuses, it would attract even more attention.